WI.com/radio.
Dr. Aaron Holtotec and his team at Holtotec Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtotec has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtotec Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtotec.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
No shortcuts, no compromises, just the job done right. At Exterior Pros, we don't just meet expectations, we crush them. Every nail, every window, every shingle is a step toward your home's next chapter. From the moment we start until that final reveal, we're committed to making your home better than ever. Quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. Go to the pros for your next project. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Nestled along the shores of Lake Michigan, the Nickerbacher Hotel offers a timeless escape in the heart of Milwaukee. Immerse yourself in the rich history of this iconic landmark where charm meets modern luxury. Picture yourself enjoying breathtaking lake views, luxurious rooms, and dining at one of the finest restaurants in the city. Whether you're visiting for a weekend getaway or a special occasion, the Nickerbacher promises an unforgettable experience. Your perfect stay awaits at the Nickerbacher Hotel. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockeronthelake.com.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
Are you ready to win some real cash during the basketball playoffs? It's time for you to check out Pick Six from DraftKings. Hey, it's Alex Rowe. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick Six posterizes the competition, including all other daily fantasy options. It's easy. Download the Pick Six app in your app store and make at least 2 selections by clicking more or less on player projections. Hit all your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick Six, plus even more cash if you outscore the competition. Pick Six is available in most states, including right here in Wisconsin, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. And you can pick on anything: basketball, baseball, golf, and more. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now and use code WKTI. That's code WKTI. For new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick Six credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick Six from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded is non-withdrawable Pick Six credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
He is the OG. The Godfather, the GOAT of NFL draft analysis. And after last year's debacle, I can't believe he came back after the allegations thrown his direction. It is the great Mel Kiper on Wilde and Tausch. Mel, good morning. Thanks for joining us. How are you, buddy?
I'm surviving. I was just told this morning that Johnny Unitas couldn't play in the NFL right now by Field Yates. So I'm a little fired up right now, to tell you the truth.
Well, Packers fans are fired up, too. I know we only have you briefly, shorter than normal, and I tend to be long-winded, as you well know. So I'm going to talk fast like you do when you're talking about prospects. Tell me about Emeka Egbuka, because the Packers are having him in on a visit, and Packers fans haven't seen a wide receiver drafted in the first round since 2002 in Javon Walker.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that's why I put Jack Besh, the wide receiver from TCU, in the second round of the Packers. The comp would be Jordy Nelson. But in terms of Emeka Egbuka, a professional receiver. He blocks. He'll make the tough catch in traffic. Unselfish player. Ran 4.48, so he didn't run quite as fast as they thought he would. So their camp thought maybe 4.39 to 4.42, but it wasn't 4.5 to 4.55 like some thought. So but good hands. Had a couple drops this year, but it was just concentration drops. That's it. He's got really good hands. Precise route runner, can play slot or wide. Just a great kid. Just a true professional in his approach. Studies the game. Works hard. First one on the practice field. I mean, he's just all about ball. So Emeka Egbuka, I think late first, early second round.
Mel, you have the Packers going outside linebacker. What position group do you think there's the most depth at? Because I think any defensive lineman Packer fans would be pretty excited about, wide receiver, corner. What position group do you think is the deepest in this year's draft?
Well, I think that each one you can find a couple guys that might slip through the cracks, but I do think defensive tackle in particular is good. Edge rushers, it's kind of, some people are high on some, a little excited about others, and down on some. So Michael Williams is who I gave the Packers in the first round, had the ankle injury, and that prevented him from having the year expected, but he played through that injury. He didn't shut it down like a lot of guys do these days when they get hurt, just preparing for the NFL draft, getting healthy. So I give Michael Williams a lot of credit. He didn't test great, but like I said, I would have loved to have seen him at 100% all year, and he still produced some disruptive plays and some hurries and sacks off the edge. So I debated him or Maxwell Hairston, the corner from Kentucky, who had a big year 2 years ago. Then he had the shoulder injury this year. He tested great, ran under 4.4. He's the kind of guy I think goes in the late first round. So there's going to be some corners that you're going to be looking at. Olufemi Oladejo from UCLA is a pass rusher moving up. Donovan Ezeraku, pass rusher from Boston College, moving up. So there are going to be some pass rushers and some corners that are going to be there at that point for the Packers to consider.
Mel, when you look at this wide receiver crop, we've talked with you every year, and they've been so good for so long. Not as good this year as a whole. How do you view it?
It's not. It really isn't. I think certainly Travis Hunter is a great player, but he can play corner or wide receiver. But Matthew Golden has come on to really establish himself as the number one wide receiver. You just take Travis Hunter out of the equation. Tedero McMillan has slid down just a bit, but I still like him coming out of Arizona. We talked about Egbuka. Luther Burden III was expected to be out of Missouri, a top 15 pick. His stock dropped. It's come back a little bit. I think he's a borderline late first, early second. I mentioned Jack Besh from TCU. His teammate Savion Williams has a chance to be a good second, third round pick for somebody. And Jaden Higgins from Iowa State's moved up to the point where he could be, like I say, solidly in that second round discussion, as will his teammate Jalen Noel from Iowa State. And an underrated player, I think, is my kid here right around in my area in Maryland, the Terrapins, is a kid named Ty Felton, who caught a lot of passes. I thought tested well, good athlete with sure hands and toughness. Kyle Williams is a really good game breaker, deep threat out of Washington State. So there are some guys. Jalen Royals, Utah State, a little underrated. But these are all these guys I'm mentioning are basically, I think 6 to 7 will go in the second. I think another 5 or 6 in the third. So first round, though, you're probably going to only have, after Hunter, 2 to 3 probably. Some think 4. I think 2 to 3 receivers after Hunter go in the first round.
Mel, outside of Abdul Carter, is there a surefire, this guy is going to be able to get after the quarterback at a high level right away? Because that's a spot I know Packer fans are looking at saying, man, we could use some upgrades along that group.
Yeah, Mike Green from Marshall I have going to Atlanta. If he were around, he certainly had a tremendous year, as did Ezra Raku from Boston College. They were the two best in terms of most production, the two best pass rushers this year in college football. Oladejo moved from off-ball to outside at UCLA and really came on. He's a name to just think about in the late first, early second round. If people are getting more enamored with him as we move through the process. And really the polarizing player in this group is James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. I thought he would be back in August, really competing with Michael Williams, maybe be a top 5 pick or number 1 pick overall. Didn't produce the results expected. Tested pretty well, but he's a borderline first-round pick too, so he'll be in that mix when the Packers are on the clock. So overall, after that group, there's a drop-off. I like David Walker out of Central Arkansas. I think he's a late 2, but after that, there's not a lot to speak of. So no, this is not a year in terms of you got to get lucky. You got to get really fortunate. Even a Shamar Stewart, the number 1 true defensive end, he had 1.5 sacks this past year. He'd had 0 sacks the last 7 games the last 3 years. So we're not talking about a lot of guys you're going to say, boy, they're coming out with great numbers and great production and dominated over a 1-2 year period. We're not seeing that in terms of the pass rushers coming out this year, outside of Abdul Carter, who this year, when he was unleashed off the edge after playing off ball, put up huge numbers. So he's the special guy, Carter is. That's why he's going 2nd or 3rd in the draft. And all these other guys are going, mid to late, most of these guys late first round.
Talking with Mel Kiper on Wilde and Tausch. Mel, you mentioned Shamar Stewart. He came in for a visit as well, and we know that Goody doesn't squander his top 30 visits on subterfuge. Give our fans a little bit better idea because, as you mentioned, the production not there, the potential there, though. What do you feel about him? I see you've got him going 29th right now to the Commanders.
Yeah, I thought about 17 to the Bengals. There were plenty of spots you could put Shamar Stewart if teams want to roll the dice on talent. Talking about a kid that he's the LTPer of this draft at defensive end. He looks the part. You put him in a computer and you say, what do we need physically, athletically? Checks every box. But then you say, okay, if you want production, and when you watch him, he's blocked by guys who aren't going to play in the NFL. I mean, it's just not the fact that people say, well, he got hurries. I went to games where he just wasn't dominating. He wasn't making his presence felt against guys, like I say, who are not going to be playing in the National Football League on those offensive lines that he went up against. That's disturbing. That certainly has to be concerning when you talk about 1.5 sacks, not only this year, but each of the last 3 years, okay? Mm-hmm. That's 4.5 for his career. As I said, the last 7 games of the last 3 seasons, he did not record a sack. Now, Oweh came out of Penn State, went to my Baltimore Ravens, didn't have a sack his final year at Penn State, had 10 sacks this past year with the Ravens. He's still not a great pass rusher. He's not what they thought he would be, but he had sacks this past year. Hunter came out of LSU, went in with the 4th round, has 99 career sacks. Danielle Hunter does. So there have been, outliers, guys that didn't have the sack production in college that did in the NFL, but they're few and far between.
Thank God you talk fast because I know we're limited on time. Mel, your often radio co-host Gabe Neitzel, who says hello, by the way, is concerned.
Oh, Silent Neitzel. There we go.
He is concerned about the Packers' cornerback group, especially if they're going to move on from Jair Alexander. What do you see in this draft, both around where they're picking at 23 and then later on in the draft that they could get on day 2 or day 3?
Well, that's like you say, what can they get down the line? And I think if they don't take the corner, in the first-round corners that will be in the mix will be Maxwell Hairston, Kentucky, and Azareye'h Thomas from Florida State, and Trey Amos from Ole Miss. I think there's a couple injured corners that are going to be interesting. Benjamin Morrison and Savone Revel Jr. were hurt this year. Didn't finish out the year, only played early on, and didn't have this final year to really rise up boards and get into the first round. Where will they go? Medical is going to be big for both Morrison and Revel Jr. Darian Porter out of Iowa State's raw, talented, be great on special teams early on. What does he develop into? Then you get into a lot of guys that are hit or miss. So it's not, there's a lot of guys that have a chance, but they're not defined. So most of these other corners are 3rd, 4th rounders. Guys like, Quincy Riley, Louisville, Caleb Ransaw, Tulane, Mac McWilliams, UCF, down to Upton Stout from Western Kentucky. It's just not a lot of guys that you say, I know what I'm getting here. I know I get a potential starter. I might get a nickel dime, but I'm not necessarily getting even a number 2 corner. So that's a position you got to just, like I say, you got to get the right guy because there's going to be some disappointments in that group.
All right, Mal, we got to get your Badger guys' evaluations. Hunter Wooler, I think, is going to be the first Badger off the board. What do you see from him? Where do you think he's going to go?
I think he goes day 3. It just depends upon whether it's the 5th, 6th, 7th round area. I liked him at Wisconsin. Obviously, a really good player. He tackles well. He's got a chance in the NFL. We thought Jim Leonard come out of his program, and there we gave him a shot. And look what Jim Leonard developed into. Hunter Wohler's going to have a chance to make a team. We'll see what happens in terms of down the road. DK left to go to Florida, the wide receiver, and he's moved up to the point where he could be in the mix to maybe be a 3rd round draft choice. So overall, I think you look at where Wohler will go. Like I say, somewhere mid to late day 3.
And how about Jack Nelson and Joe Huber, both offensive linemen? And I know you have a high affinity for Wisconsin linemen.
Some of them,
where do you think those guys go? Yeah,
I do. Jack Nelson, definitely. Jack Nelson right now is my 10th. He has the same grade as anywhere between 10 and 13 on the offensive tackle board right now. I have a 3rd, 4th round grade on Jack Nelson. So, yes, he will go probably ahead of Wohler the way it looks right now and be a guy. Like I said, DK left to go to Florida. He'll be, like I say, in that 3rd round mix. But I think you would look at Jack Nelson as a guy. And an offensive tackle group where a lot of these guys are projecting to guard. It just has not turned out to be a great group of tackles. You have to get past maybe the 12th, 13th tackle. Good luck on that. So you're going to have to, most of these guys will be late round picks. So there's not a lot of depth at that position because, like I said, a lot of these guys I'm moving inside to the guard spot.
Hard to believe that Tausch's projection for a Wisconsin pick was not as accurate as yours was. Mel, we know you got to do TV. We appreciate you. You're the best. Thanks.
Say hi to Gabe for me.
Will do. That is Mel Kiper Jr. You can watch him on First Take coming up momentarily, I believe, but you're going to stay tuned to us as well on YouTube and across ESPN Wisconsin. He's, we obviously get to talk to him every year.
Doesn't sound like corner. Doesn't sound like we're going to be digging around.
That was not encouraging. No, and also not entirely. Like I thought, Shamar Stewart. Given the fact that he was one of the first players that the Packers had in on a top 30 visit, he posted a picture of Lambeau Field, and but I had seen that number of his lack of productivity. But maybe Goody doesn't care about that. He loves the RAS score, so maybe I'll have to check Shamar Stewart's RAS score to figure out how that plays into his draft status. Your projection on Hunter Wohler was slightly higher than Mel's, but I would say this. He does feel like a guy that I have no interest in betting against.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you agree?
I think I just looked at how the last season played out. I think Jack Nelson is going to have a nice NFL career, but everything was, Hunter Wohler, it was always going to come down to kind of how he tested because he's just a really good football player. And whoever gets him in his building, he's going to make it incredibly difficult to not put him on the field. He is a tough kid. He's everything you want in a football player. So that's kind of that Wisconsin mantra, and I think, Joe Huber is going to be another guy that I asked Mel about. All of those guys, I think, are going to be all right, maybe they don't have all of the measurables that you're looking for in being a 1st or 2nd round pick, but are going to be very difficult once you get them in your program to not give them opportunities to play. So I'm a little surprised that Hunter is, projected by Mel to be, basically a late pick. I would have thought that he was going to be having a great opportunity to be a 2nd-day guy. Obviously, throughout the draft process, that is not how Mel views him.
The other part of this, though, and what I thought was interesting, we'll talk more about this coming up, but it doesn't feel, other than, I know he said defensive tackle's a really deep group, it doesn't feel like the Packers' needs match up all that brilliantly with the strengths of the draft. Like, wide receivers not great. The tackle,
the D-line is... I think the edge, and obviously when I asked about Abdul Carter and anyone behind him, because Abdul's not going to be anywhere near in position for Green Bay to get, even though I'd love to see him do that. That position, but I think there's a lot of twitchy interior guys that I think will fit real nicely with what Green Bay's doing. And, we've seen Goody loves Georgia Bulldogs. If you ask Goody, have the Bulldogs you've brought in lived up to the expectations that you had when you drafted him? How would Goody answer that question honestly? Would he say, yep, everything we thought, or would he say, I wanted more?
Right. And it was interesting talking to Lucas Van Ness before the tailgate tour departed, because I think he knows that it's a big year for him personally. But Goody said nice things about him at the NFL meetings. But I think he would have to admit that through 2 seasons, he has not gotten what he wanted out of him.
That's typically when you got to be a little nervous. If your GMs and coaches are saying a lot of really nice things when you haven't been overly productive, that's not a great sign, actually.
It's a very fair point. That's very good. But it is a big year for him, and it's a big year for Tuck.
If you get that Chamber of Commerce award, that's when you know it's over. Once you get the Chamber of Commerce award at that luncheon, you might as well pack your bags. You're out in the next season. That's generally how that plays.
Or if you invest in a local Dunkin' Donuts, because that tended to be the end of Ricky Jean-Francois. All right, lots to unpack there. We'll get to Jesse's going to replay that later in the show in case you missed it. I would challenge anyone to get that much information into that short of a window. Pretty darn impressive by Mel, and we love it when he joins us, and we appreciate his time. Even when
what I
it's
still don't
truncated.
get about Mel? I mean, we've had him on. He's been on, I think, almost every year we've been doing the show.
Yeah.
The pumpkin pie part is always fun.
We had no time for that. The pizza.
No, the concept of not using a cell phone at all. Like, I'm old school corresponding with Mel, and he still uses a landline. He does not own a cell phone. Like, that's crazy to me in this era of time.
So is he at home? So he's at home doing.
I don't know.
He's going to be on TV.
He uses a cell phone 3 days a year, and it's his wife's cell phone that he uses. Like, can you imagine? And then I get a kick out of it because then the Unsportsmanlike crew was talking about that this morning, and all of them are up there like, "Oh, that would be great." None of those cats would ever want to do that. Michelle, Canty, or Evan. And I do wonder if that would be great. And I might try it. I might go next week, cell-free for a week. Yes, I might.
That sounds very realistic.
And I got to get a landline in the house, though. That's the tricky part of that.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck with that. I don't see you making that switch. If you do want to make a smart switch, though, and you're unhappy with your current bank, make the switch to Associated Bank. They've been with us since the beginning, and they've been with the Packers since the beginning. They were there in 1919 when it began, and they're still there today, the official bank of the Packers. More importantly, the official bank, or unofficial bank, of great customer service. They've got the official awards to prove it, and if you join up, you'll find out for yourself how great they are. Whether it's with early pay that gives you access to your money up to 2 days early, credit monitoring to make sure your credit score is where you want it, fraud protection, so important these days. All those things plus Brewers checking, Badgers checking, and Packers checking. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. We'll talk more about the tailgate tour and about Mel Kiper's views on some of the Packers' needs next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Drum roll, please.
Carbliss is here with refreshing new flavors. Introducing their Tropical Bliss Variety Pack. Let the summertime flavors of blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, and grapefruit whisk you away from the winter blues. New flavors, same great Carbliss perks. Every handcrafted cocktail still has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories. Find the Tropical Bliss Variety Pack in store wherever Carbliss is sold and enjoy your winter passport to paradise. Grab a pack today and discover why Bliss is more with Carbliss.
For your next night out, revel in the fusion of artistry and flavor with sushi at St. Kate, offering guests an elevated experience where freshness and creativity converge in every bite. St. Kate the Arts Hotel introduces an exciting new sushi menu to its culinary repertoire. Indulge in the finest seafood, freshest ingredients, and expert craftsmanship for an inspired and delectable dining journey. Experience the art of sushi at St. Kate and learn more at stkatearts.com.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we believe in making the most of what you love, making sure your money is as well spent as your time. So as you start your spring projects, we have the value you need to make them your own. Right now, Rewards members get a free $10 gift card with an $80 estate fertilizer purchase, $5 off 3-pound bags of estate grass seed, just $9.99. Plus, new colors of men's and women's Carhartt pocket tees, 2 for $30. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde?
Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 4/30/2025.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 48-ounce selected varieties Stone Ridge ice cream, 2 for $7. 18 to 24.6-ounce selected varieties Vandecamp's fish, $4.49. 4.5 to 5.3-ounce selected varieties Dan and Greek yogurt, 5 for $5. 9.5 to 10.75-ounce selected varieties Hostess mini donuts, 2 for $4.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers.
Safe.
Okay. Ooh. Pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Evan Cohen on Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Verizon. Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL. Visit a Milwaukee area Verizon store today. This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
I think 6 to 7 will go in the second. I think another 5 or 6 in the third. So first round, though, you're probably going to only have, after Hunter, 2 to 3 probably. Some think 4. I think 2 to 3 receivers after Hunter go in the first round.
That is Mel Kiper on Wilde and Tausch moments ago. One of the slower sentences we got out of him. Impressive. Absolutely impressive. How much knowledge there is there. Thanks to Hunter Vaughn, who passed this along. And I didn't want to say it because I couldn't remember if I was accurate or not. But Shamar Stewart, I thought this was the case, and Hunter confirmed it. He scored an unofficial 9.99 RAS score. That's out of a possible 10.
Who did that?
That is
snap.
Hunter Vaughn did. Yeah, no. Shamar Stewart did. Hunter Vaughn sent the information. This ranked third out of 1,802 defensive ends that have been graded since 1987. So he sounds like the perfect Goody guy.
If he's available, Green Bay is going to take him.
Despite his stunning lack of productivity.
We will have the same discussions that we had when Rashawn Gary was picked. Dude's got all the talent you can, but why isn't that leading to production?
Mm-hmm.
I can remember we had that conversation numerous times, and, sans a few weeks during the 21 season, I believe, when Rashawn was being highly productive, those same conversations can still be had. So this is always the biggest issue that talent evaluators have to deal with is you want these high ceilings. You want these long-levered, freaky athletes that can do freaky things.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you balance that with somebody that is not the athlete but is the productive, someone that is going to continue to go day in and day out, maybe doesn't have that high ceiling, but their floor is always going to be more. And I look at a Trey Hendrickson, and I would bet that his RAS score is nowhere near Shamar's. But football isn't just about RAS. That's cute and fun. Football's about problem solving. Football's about, all of the little things and how much you work and how much you prepare. Those parts you can't evaluate other than watching film and talking to coaches, because what a player does for 4 or 5 years at a university is going to be a pretty good indicator of how they're going to approach. And the problem is with guys like Shamar and other players that are incredibly freaky athletically is you don't have to put in that work as much in college because you're going to beat guys for just offensive tackles or guards or something from smaller schools because you're just better. That ain't the case in the NFL. You might be a little bit better, but you're not going to win consistently if you don't have counter moves and you don't study weaknesses and you don't figure that stuff out, solving problems. A lot of guys have to figure that out in college because they're playing against guys that maybe are a little bit better than them, and then they get better physically, and they have that, and that's when the elevator matches up. A lot of times these RAS guys, their elevator sits up at the penthouse, but they never climb the other part. Then you have this huge gap, and that's why you don't ever have a long, fruitful, productive career.
Raz Al Ghul, am I right? Look, if those are your projections and that's what you believe in, if you're Goody, how do you go away from that is my question.
Because you don't have success with it.
Right, but
at some point, well, you asked how. I think the answer is at some point you can keep buying a certain brand of car because it's sexy and it's fast. And then you know what? Snowstorms hit and you're like, why do I keep getting, well, this car tested this. Well, yeah, but the tests were in Florida. They weren't tested for Michigan and for Wisconsin. And then all of a sudden you're looking at it and being like, well, I can't even get the dang thing out the garage. So, yeah, it's cute and great in August, but what am I doing in November, December, January? Well, it's got to sit in the car. It's got to sit in the garage because the tires are too bald. They ain't going to go do anything. At some point, you have to look at it and say, yeah, that's great. I'm excited about that, but it hasn't worked. And if it hasn't worked, why would you continue to hammer your head against a steel post? Eventually, you're going to slide away and say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. There's got to be a balance of it, and I'm fine taking flyers on it, but for my Goody standum being as high as it is, I can't tell you that he's crushed it in the first round with his picks because he hasn't. And maybe it's because you're relying too much on numbers and not enough on the film. Maybe.
Which is my question, and I appreciate your answer, but what I'm saying is, if you believe in it so wholeheartedly, how many misses are there before you reevaluate? Because it does seem like it is the number one indicator of whether or not Brian Gutekunst is interested in you or not, is what your RAS score is. And I say this with nothing but undying respect for you. You were a terrific athlete. I don't know what your RAS score was. I could look in that Mel Kiper book that Jen paid a fortune for on eBay. I don't know if Mel had that in there in 2000, but I'm guessing that if your RAS score was middling, in spite of the fact that you played 11 years in the NFL and were a pretty damn good tackle, Goody wouldn't have been all that interested in you. And that would have been a miss by him. So my question is, your answer is right. Obviously, you can't keep banging. But my point is if you believe in something so strongly, how many misses does it take before you really and truly start to change your approach? And I don't think he's had so many misses that he's sitting up there in his office at Lambeau going, boy, maybe I pay too much attention to the RAS score. I don't know if he feels that way. And we'll talk to him before the draft, and I am going to ask him about that because it is something that is fascinating.
But I think he obviously subscribes to that because the track record shows you he does. And he's had a lot of success, a lot like Ted and Ron did with later picks in doing that. I don't think that's a bad way to look at it either. So you have to look at it. The problem is, do you weight your first and second round picks? Is that weighted in this equation as far as the RAS? Well, this guy, because the expectations are going to be different. If Lucas Van Ness was a fourth-round pick, you'd be like, okay. Nobody's sitting there saying, well, J.J. Enikbari he's underperformed. Or Brenton Cox is really underperformed. Nobody's saying that because you're not using the resources to do it. You put in resources, you expect a certain output. And when you don't get that, you're going to be disappointed, even though it's no fault of any of these players, but there's other things at play, too. It can't just be about RAS.
I feel like I was not given enough of an attaboy for Ra's al Ghul. I feel like that was a pretty good Batman reference.
I didn't understand it.
It's the villain in Batman. You love Christian Bale. Just went right over your head.
Number 3 in my power rankings.
I thought it was more of a Italian dinner type thing. That's what I thought that was, and it went over my head.
So Lucas Van Ness, in case you're wondering.
What's that? Ratatouille? Gabaligoo?
Ratatouille.
That's what I thought you were doing.
That's not Italian.
Ratatouille's not Italian?
No, it's French.
Oh, yeah. Very similar languages.
Of course.
Lucas Van Ness had a
romance languages, both French and Italian. Is Spanish considered a romance language?
Let me know when you've worked your way through this. Lucas Van Ness had a 9.41 RAS score. Rashawn Gary, a 9.95. So, to our point, it is something that obviously has heavily factored into Goody's thought process. We will see what that means for Shamar Stewart moving forward. And look, there's a bunch I want to talk about.
I get the hunch that because you're studying it the way you are, you think if he's there, Goody's taking him. Am I right to read that right?
Look, I obviously I don't know. And I also don't know. I understand,
gut feel
and I do want to get into Ibuka as well, because do I pronounce the G, Jesse? Is it Egbuka or Ibuka?
I think it's just Ibuka. I will double check.
Thank you for your service. I don't think Goody brings guys in for subterfuge. I think you could see his track record. He drafts guys all the time from the guys that come in for visits. Now, he doesn't draft everybody who visits because you get 30 visits a year, so obviously not all of them are being picked. But the fact that Stewart came for a visit tells me that they're legit interested in him, and they probably wanted to put him on the board and talk extensively about his football IQ to go along with his RAS score. Because the production is, as Mel told us, not there.
Ratatouille.
So if he's there at 23, yeah, I think there's a good chance they take him. If Ibuka is there at 23, I think there's a good chance they take him. Like, they don't bring him in just for show. And so, do I think that the streak since 2002, when Javon Walker became your teammate, is going to end this year? I wouldn't put a meaningful amount of money on it. I mean, that's not my thing anyway, but you know what I mean. And Stewart sure makes sense at a position where they've taken some swings and they haven't hit any home runs. Certainly no grand slams like with Josh Jacobs, who, by the way, wasn't there for the tailgate tour today. And I was really looking forward to asking him if he feels like they still need a number one wide receiver. And
Was
how
he not going on the tour?
I don't know. I think he may be a late scratch.
Oh.
Well, I don't know why.
I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is,
Pick him up on the side of the road somewhere? Like, how does that work if he joins midway?
I don't know. I don't know if he Ubers behind it until they stop at a quick trip to go to the bathroom.
What you're saying, there's a lot of conclusions you could draw, and I'm not going to do that because I'm responsible.
Like
I won't do that.
It's like an old Western when they're on 94 driving, so he's got to like hop onto the moving bus.
Like Speed. I guess they're getting off the bus, but be that as it may. All right, I want to get into.
I hope they don't have to. Why would you jump on the speed bus? Like everybody's trying to get off the speed bus.
Right, and in Speed, they actually drive alongside of it, and the people get off.
Oh, I'm saying it's the opposite of Speed, though, is what I was saying.
So did I.
Oh.
I wasn't thinking Speed. I was thinking a train.
I was thinking like a stagecoach,
like a cowboy jumping onto a train.
Conestoga.
Yeah.
Like, some of the stuff in that movie is so absurd. Like,
no,
they're jumping. Like, that bus is jumping a bridge, an unfinished bridge. Like, come on. I mean, Keanu's special, but let's get serious here. Like, not Susan Sarandon, Sandy Bullock. Like, what are we doing here? But I
love Susan Sarandon and Speed.
I love the concept of that movie, though. I think it's a great baseline for a movie.
Well, do you love the concept, or do you think it's preposterous? I don't think you can really say both things about that movie.
No, I love the concept that you have to keep it at a certain speed, but I don't love the concept that you're Evel Knieveling, a Greyhound bus 100 feet in the air like you're the Dukes of Hazzard. Like, I just don't think that's viable.
So you want them to do Speed, but like at 35 miles an hour to be more realistic?
No, just that jump in the big span of the unfinished
Well, you're not
bridge.
jumping a big bridge like that. No, I mean, come on.
You just got to be able to navigate your way through some traffic or some construction if needed to keep it realistic.
It's like trying to get to Lambeau Field right now. Well, I appreciate that many years after that film was in your cineplexes and theaters, that Tausch has informed us that there are some unrealistic moments in that classic Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock / Susan Sarandon film. We'll talk about other unrealistic things coming up, but you are going to have a realistic chance of being at the NFL draft if you enter Verizon's Road to the Draft sweepstakes. That's right. Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone, where you'll be taken care of like a first-round pick. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry into select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. So you've got less than a week, so you better get in there. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
The excitement is building for Walk MS. Join in and be part of an unforgettable display of support and love surrounding people with multiple sclerosis. It takes a whole community to end this disease. This May, all over the state, witness firsthand the MS community coming to life like never before, including on Sunday, May 4th at the Summerfest grounds for Walk MS Milwaukee. Visit walkms.org today and plan to join us around Wisconsin. That's May 4th at the Summerfest grounds.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Courtney Cronin.
Every move the Bears have made this offseason reflects a belief that they believe they can contend in 2025. And I don't think that that's so far off. Given all that they had to do to get to this point, you don't have the time to be taking a step back and saying, all right, well, let's let Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams gel together. Maybe it takes a year. Maybe we're thinking 2026. No, you got to hit the ground running. And those expectations, because you have a young quarterback, the former number one overall pick on his rookie deal, where, let's face it, I know it may be a little harsh in today's day and age, but if you don't have an answer on your quarterback after year two, you have your answer at that point. Like, you know that you're probably moving on. So what's at stake for Caleb this year about getting it right, about fixing some of the things that he needs to put on himself skill-wise?
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Your team, your favorite players, and another chance to chase history. Experience the next level energy at Fiserv Forum as the Milwaukee Bucks make their 9th consecutive postseason appearance. Don't miss a second of the most exciting matchups, epic buzzer beaters, and high-stakes postseason moments. Secure your seats for the Bucks playoffs, presented by BMO. Get in on the action at bucks.com/playoffs. That's bucks.com/playoffs.
No shortcuts, no compromises, just the job done right. At Exterior Pros, we don't just meet expectations, we crush them. Every nail, every window, every shingle is a step toward your home's next chapter. From the moment we start until that final reveal, we're committed to making your home better than ever. Quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. Go to the pros for your next project. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
We'll talk more about what Mel had to say, including hearing his thoughts on Ibuka. No G. The G's there. Silent G. Kind of like gnocchi. at the top of the 10 o'clock hour.
A lot of text about Speed coming in, too, by the way. Just if you ever want to do that.
It is a great American film. I would love to get some thoughts.
Don't think it needed a sequel.
Apparently it was
Pretty
on
sure
last night, so several fans were watching it last night. There's a whole Speed sideshow going on the text chain.
Jeff
Would
Daniels,
we agree
terrific.
Speed did not need a sequel?
Well, apparently Keanu Reeves agreed because he's not in it. He was replaced by, Jason Patrick. I think he said, this film doesn't need a sequel, and if you're going to do it, you're going to do it without me.
What was Speed 2 about? Was it the same thing? Or
No,
was
it was on a boat, I think.
Oh, that's more fun.
Did they have to keep the boat at a certain speed then? Was that the
Speed
gist of that
2,
one too?
Cruise Control, came out in 1997. And yes, Jason, they managed to keep Sandra Bullock. But then Jason
She was driving
Patrick,
again?
Again, I don't know. I don't know how that played out. I'll have to do a little more research. But they did away with Jack. Reeves, according to Wikipedia, Reeves was offered $12 million to reprise his role as Jack, but turned it down because he did not like the script. Was financially secure from the success of Speed, and he felt he was not ready physically or mentally to star in another action film, having just completed Chain Reaction. So they settled for Jason Patrick, and Sandra Bullock was on a boat of some sort. All right. I'm curious what other people are saying about that classic film, but I'm more curious about what Tausch has got going on with Kohler Services and this big contest we're doing as well.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Absolutely. I don't know if we've been talking about with Kohler Services for a long time about going in, getting the new shower, getting the new bath, remodeling, and now you have a chance to do this. If your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, if there's mildew, and if it's mossy, if it's bleh, if it looks like the old Coliseum back in the old days that I've shown, if you got a crappy old toilet, whatever it might be, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Free. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services. That includes a design consultation, demolition and removal, and I am fairly certain, again, if it's close enough, I will come in with that big old sledgehammer. I'm going to start pounding away, knocking out that old stank shower of yours, and we're going to get that installed, a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. Upload your photo by April 30th, so let's get moving, people, to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win. Again, a free shower remodel, all of the fixings, consultation, demolition, and installation of that new Kohler Lugstone shower. Again, go to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest to learn more.
I'm there right now, and just so you know, you have until Wednesday, April 30th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Central Time.
You'll stroke of midnight.
Not again.
Just so everyone's aware. The 10 o'clock hour will start in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why?
Strong mind, strong body, and strong communities. That is what you need to know about the Princeton Club, and that is what you can achieve at the Princeton Club of New Berlin. When you walk in there, you will feel completely motivated to better yourself just like everyone else is doing. I've done personal training. They have saunas. They have workout classes. They have basketball courts. They have indoor-outdoor swimming pools. It all starts with a tour. Check it out. You're going to fall in love. Free childcare with the membership, open 24/7. Check out the Princeton Club of New Berlin. Get your tour and take that small step to a bigger journey for a better tomorrow. That's at theprincetonclub.net.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yes, you heard me correctly. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including a design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath. An installation of a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win.
Looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been shaping the future for businesses for 167 years and for the last 15 right here in Milwaukee. We offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making, and extensive experience to help you navigate the ever-changing business landscape with your business in mind. At Fifth Third, we're big enough to provide sophisticated solutions and expert guidance, yet empowered to make local decisions and build strong community connections. Experience the commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Wilde and Tausch begins now. And it begins with Mel Kiper's thoughts on the man that visited Lambeau Field yesterday, the latest in a recent impressive line of wide receivers out of Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka. Learn the name because he came on a top 30 visit to Lambeau Field yesterday. He may still be there today. I'm not sure how long he was staying. Adam Schefter, the first to report that he was visiting. He had visited the Cowboys.
Quick question for you, Jason,
earlier.
as you're going through Emeka and Shamor and everybody else.
Shamor.
I
don't remember Shamor, but okay.
Who's the DN that you love? It's got that Raz.
I don't love him. Our job is to educate people, and he had a 9.99 on the 10 scale of RAS.
A lot of Raz.
Raz Al Ghul, am I right?
I love sitting around a campfire in the Door County Peninsula making a Shamor.
So if
and drinking a Coors Light.
If Emeka Shamor, what's the guy's name that you're raving about? Johnny Raz. What do you mean?
Johnny Raz. You're one of one. No, it's Johnny Raz. Johnny Raz.
Johnny Raz.
Be a great DJ
Emeka
name.
I don't even know if there's a corner that would be, in that mix. But Goody's got his 3 top guys at those 3 positions.
Oh, they're all available when he's on the clock.
Yes. Saying.
Yep. Great question. I think he's taking Johnny Raz. It's actually what he's going to write on the card. That Brian Naring will take up to the commissioner. I don't know. I think he probably. You heard what Mel said in the Sports Center. Let's hear what Mel said about Egbuka here in a second. But Mel said with us, and again, Jesse, you're going to replay the entirety of that at 11:15. You said,
yeah. For those who missed it at 9:15, I think we can replay our entire conversation with Mel at 11:15.
How will that play in the chat, Jesse? How is that going to play in the YouTube chat that stick around for a vast majority of the show? You think they're going to get after you, or you think they'll like it?
I think they're going to like it. There was so much information he shared in 12 to 15 minutes with us that you're going to want to hear it a second.
Have you considered playing it at like 0.75 speed? Like when we have to watch those videos, which, by the way,
slow it down.
I hate to be. I understand that this, Evan gives me a hard time for niche references that are GKB related, but we do this training, to remind us not to, fall for the dirty, rotten tricks of malware and schmishing and all the other nefarious stuff trying to get your information or ransomware. But it's like a series, not to the degree of Dallas, but it's like it's a story arc of this fictional company. And I have to admit, I am now very curious to find out every month what happens to the characters.
Nice little plot
in this film that I keep following. I don't know what my point was there, other than to say that
I don't either.
Like that never happens with you, Shamor.
No, I don't sit and act like I don't.
I don't know how people will react, but my thought was maybe we should play Mel at 0.75 speed because they give you the option
faster?
watching. No, it's slower.
Oh, okay. I would have thought the baseline would be 0, and then if you speed it up, it'll be 0.75.
No, 1 is the baseline. Normal speed is 1.
We can't play Mel.
The baseline would be 0.
We can't play Mel slower than what his speed is right now, otherwise the draft explodes. So we have to keep going.
Space-time continuum. He spoke really quickly and said a lot of things, so it'll be worth your time. I'd like to hear it again myself, frankly. So that'll be at 11:15. Okay. But he did mention that he thinks there's going to be only 2 to 3 wide receivers in the first round after Hunter, who is obviously both a corner and a wide receiver. And then he said, I think he said 6 to 7 maybe in the second round. We know the Packers' history, second-round picks at wide receiver.
I love the fact that he comped, I don't even remember the dude from where, Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, Jack Beck.
The Jordy Nelson comp. I'd sign up for that.
Yeah, he would be TCU. His is where he's from. Jack Beck is the player that he does have him as the Packers' second-round pick. So he did have Ibuka as the Packers' pick, I think, earlier in his mock drafts. So, again, we'll have to wait and see what happens on draft day at number 23. But here is what he said about Emeka Ibuka, who visited the Packers yesterday on a top 30 visit.
In terms of Emeka Ibuka, a professional receiver. He blocks. He'll make the tough catch in traffic. Unselfish player. Ran 4.48, so he didn't run quite as fast as they thought he would. Their camp thought maybe 4.39 to 4.42, but it wasn't 4.5 to 4.55 like some thought. So, but good hands. Had a couple, drops this year, but it was just concentration drops. That's it. He's got really good hands. Precise route runner, can play slot or wide. Just a great kid. Just a true professional in his approach, studies the game, works hard, first one on the practice field. I mean, he's just all about ball. So Emeka Ibuka, I think late first, early second round.
He's got really good hands, but he drops the ball a lot. Sounds like he'll fit right in. Am I right?
Oh, Bernstein.
Bernie. In all seriousness.
Happy birthday, Kay. It was Kay's birthday yesterday.
Happy belated birthday to her. I'm sure she listens to our show. I'm fascinated by this possibility. Do you know how many times the Packers in the Super Bowl era have drafted a wide receiver in the first round? Because Javon Walker is in very exclusive company. And this 20-plus year drought of first-round wide receivers is actually very consistent with the Packers' history at the position. Would you like to guess in the Super Bowl era how many?
Okay, let's do it this way.
First-round picks.
I want to see if I can name if there are, because you said very exclusive. I only think it's happened 3 times total.
It is 4 times total, and one of the other 3 beyond Javon is
give me
not
the years.
Okay.
Give me the years that they were drafted to see if I can name this first-round wideout. I believe James Lofton is going to be the answer to one of these.
All right. So do you want me to give you the years, or do you want to throw out names?
I do. I'm just throwing things out that are going into my head.
Sure,
I got
understand.
James Lofton going 1.
Well, before we get to Stanford's James Lofton, in 1973, the Packers selected with the 21st overall pick a wide receiver from Florida State, same school as Javon Walker.
Oh.
That wide receiver's name was?
No idea.
Barry Smith. Barry Smith.
Smitty. Old Smitty.
That sounds
Tyler
made up.
Davis.
That sounds
Tyler
like
Davis.
someone at the University of Wisconsin was trying to make up a name on the fly.
Not only... Then I think the next year they drafted a guy named Barty Smith. So they had Barry Smith and Barty Smith.
It can't be real.
Brothers.
It is. It's real. I looked it up. All right. In 1978, with the number 6 overall pick, the Green Bay Packers selected Stanford's
Jimmy Lofton.
James Lofton. Correct. I don't know. Is he like? You think he's like? We've had him on the show before. Is he? If you call him Jimmy, is that like calling Charles Woodson Chuck? It's not advisable.
I doubt he's probably that excited to be Jimmy. So, yeah, probably, but I don't know. He's
And
pretty
then-
easygoing cat. He's
then-
pretty easygoing cat.
The year was 1988. Tom Bratz was in charge of the Green Bay Packers draft, and with the 7th overall pick, the Green Bay Packers selected out of South Carolina University. Sterling Sharp. So, 4 wide receivers
Pretty good
in the
hit
Super
rate.
Bowl era.
Pretty good hit rate.
But if you only bat 4 times, it's a lot easier to bat 500.
True.
So, could Ibuka be the 5th in the Super Bowl era? We'll have to wait and see. For those of you, did you want to play this game further? Because I also have another list in my story on channel3000.com.
Save it for tomorrow. I like this idea of let's do a list and see how many first-round picks we can garner out of O-line and running back, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, the list that I have in my story at channel3000.com, one is the Ohio State wide receivers that have gone in the first round the last 3 drafts.
that
Ibuka, come on, it was an opportunity for you to reference Maserati Marv, which I thought you enjoyed saying that.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that.
And then also the second round.
I'm not here to glaze Ohio State, I can promise you that.
And then the second round wide receivers the Packers have selected during the Thompson and Gutekunst eras. So, but
that's that would be more interesting than me just raving about how great Ohio State's wide receiving core is. I just don't care.
For those of you who are not named Mark Tauscher and are curious about their track record at the position, in the event that the Packers do select Emeka Ibuka, last year Marvin Harrison went 4th overall. The previous year in 2023, Jackson Smith-Njigba went 20th overall to Seattle.
Pretty good.
And in 2022, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave went back-to-back.
I wanted Olave that year.
Wilson, number 10 to the Jets. Olave, number 11 to the New Orleans Saints.
That might be, you know what? New Orleans is going to completely gut their team. Watch Olave could be somebody Green Bay targets if they don't get their guys early. We liked Olave. He's still got 2 years, I believe, of relative control price-wise with a 5th-year option. I think he's going into year 4.
Yeah, he's in the same class. He's in the same class as Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker.
Oh, so it's only 1 year?
This year, and then if they give him the 5th-year option,
2
next
years.
year. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I would think that would be someone I'd be intrigued by. If I'm the G&G, the Saints, if they're not going to pay him, which they are gutting, they're finally going to try to get their salary cap situated. They're not going to be paying guys that they don't feel is boom, boom, boom. So if they draft a young quarterback, which is by all accounts something that they might do, watch that name. Watch that name as someone, with a little urgency bringing him in.
What is your track record on watch that name references? Because the last time somebody did this, it was Domovsky with that defensive tackle for the Cowboys, and he ended up getting like a $25 million a year
He got
deal
franchise tagged
to
Rob
stay
was
in
on
Dallas. No, Rob
was on it.
No, Rob wasn't on it. Rob said they were going to let him walk, and the Packers were going to be interested. And he told us to keep our eye on him.
Maybe Jerry read that and said, "Well, the Packers are interested. We better pay that man his monies."
Rob Domovsky says the Packers are interested. We should keep him.
Jason? It's not a secret. Here's what I try to do. I try to read 2 steps ahead, and sometimes I'm not right. But there is. If you're New Orleans right now, you're looking at it, we stink, we need draft picks, we're not going to pay Olave, who needs a wideout? The Packers were very intrigued by Olave 3 years ago in the draft. He's a veteran, he could solidify some things. This is the part that you start looking ahead and saying, that might make sense.
It might make sense.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I want to at least look and make you think.
Hey, and
That's
it could be one of those kissing cousins headline moments where you say that and suddenly it happens and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe Tausch
I
saw
don't want to have to sit here and continue to tell you all the things that I've gotten right. I've gotten some stuff wrong.
Give us a couple of examples of the things you've gotten right.
Pick swap.
Yep, that's one.
Pick swap.
Yep.
I could go through a litany of other
You
things.
could,
I'm
but
not
you're
going
not
to
going
bore
to.
you. Well, I'm not going to bore you with the rest of it, but come on.
No, I'm really interested. It wouldn't be boring at all to me.
I feel like
I'd like to hear more.
We do a lot of draft discussion here, and then
David Bakhtiari wasn't going to play. He wasn't going to come. I mean, if you want to just get into that Elton Jenkins was going to be your center. I told you that last year, right after the tailgate tour. I said this is going to be the last year of Old Boy, and Elton Jenkins is going to be your center next year. Told you that in April of last year. So I don't know. I told you Balaga wasn't going to come back when his thing. There's stuff there. I'm not going to sit here. Are you guys asking me or forcing me to give myself pats on the back? I don't want to do that.
You're starting to sound like Mel Kiper's voicemail about you right now. Kind of the tenor of your voice and everything else. All right.
Well, Jesse's in there all smugly like, well, you don't have it. I just gave you 5 examples. I'm not even thinking about
You get a lot right prognosticating what will happen with the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if the first-round draft picks is one of the categories that's at the top of the list. I feel like every year we get to pick 20 whatever that the Packers have, and there's these guys, Cooper DeJean's on the board, and Quinyon Mitchell's on the board, and it still ends up being some guy we haven't talked about and have barely heard of that they end up selecting, like Jordan Morgan last year. Like, oh, who's that?
I'm not acting like I'm Johnny draft pick guy.
You're Johnny Ravs.
I'm saying what I like to look at, guys, is who is going to be dispensable to other teams that would be a great fit for the G&G. That's how I look at it. And whether or not there's other teams that look at this the same way, sure. I won't be shocked if Chris Olave is playing for another team next season. And I would hope that the Green Bay Packers are in that conversation if that is the case. Because you don't have to pay him immediately Bonko dollars. That is one of the holdups at Goody with your urgency part is it can be urgent, but if you're giving up a second-round pick and then you're going to pay a wideout $30-some million, that ain't Gootinator. That's not how he rolls. This would be how Goody would roll. Oh, okay, well, yeah, we'd like to bring Olave in. Maybe we have somebody, Dobbs, somebody else that maybe you'd be interested in. Because they want to get more veteran, and they want to have a guy. Olave could be that guy.
There are multiple reports that Chris Olave's future in New Orleans is in question. So Tausch is not wrong. No one said you were wrong.
You guys questioned my chops. Chop questioned. And another one. Hey, by the way, the other one. Chop.
I
said Chop
guy.
would be a great pick.
Now we got resume
And what
guy
did he do
over
last year? 10 or 11 sacks?
Didn't he also get picked like 12?
But I don't know what I'm talking about. Life's busy. Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're craving that fresh coffee, a tasty bakery treat, a draft pick, some type of prognostication, Quick Trip and Old T is your place. Food Tier, Quick Trip has a variety of apps and meals ready when you are. The mozzie sticks. Jason's a big taco guy. They got it all. You can sweeten up your game right now. You got that $1.99, those quart and a half. Oh, gosh, they're good. Now you can also get, it's $2.99 for the breakfast sausage links. They got everything. Soup bags, $6.99 on Tuesdays. And, of course, the chicken deals. Roasted whole chicken for $6.99 on Mondays, or the $9.99 tenders on Wednesday. Quick Trip is the ultimate destination. You can fuel your day with quality taste. Download the Rewards app. Take advantage of everything that Quick Trip has to offer. Quick rewards on every visit. Plus, you can order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip, we'll see you next time.
Is the Brewers panic after starting the season 0-4? Is that in your category of things you nailed?
I said not to panic.
Yeah.
I told you don't panic.
I'm trying to give items that you said.
I'm not going to read all the text comparing Tausch's draft analysis and prognostications to his Badgers Final Four predictions. I will not be doing that in the next segment.
Just trying to help you with your list.
You lead with your heart sometimes and you get beat.
I said if they were in Milwaukee. That's funny because I heard that audio. You didn't say it. You added that later.
I said it. I put a distinct spot on that afterwards that was part of the equation.
Very distinct, yeah. We need to get ready for Evan Cohen. And as much as I appreciate you telling us about Quick Trip, Jesse, we do have to do our Fantasy Focus Football Podcast giveaway, too. Are you able to do that at the same time as calling Evan Cohen, though? I don't want to put you in a tough spot.
We could do it. Just don't take don't take caller 10. Take caller 4.
You know what? Let's just take caller 4 now and get it over with.
All right.
That way you don't have to worry about it. Get it off your plate.
What the heck? Let's do it.
The heck with it. Just get done with it.
No, we need to get a contestant. We want that, and we're going to do it right now. Because ESPN's Fantasy Focus Football Podcast is coming to Green Bay on April 23rd. You can see Field Yates, Daniel Dopp, Mike Clay, Liz Loza, and Stefania Bell. They're doing their live show at the Tundra Trio, and ESPN Wisconsin wants to send you and a friend up to Green Bay to see the show happen live. So right now, call it 4 at 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776 wins 2 tickets to ESPN's Fantasy Focus Football Live at the Tundra Trio. See the show up close, meet all the hosts, get complimentary food and beverages, and Fantasy Focus Football Podcast merch. That's caller 4 right now, 844-770-3776. Visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com for full details. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Coming up live on Tuesday, a special edition of On the Tee. They're letting us go for 2 hours talking about the year's first major down at Augusta. Join me, Gabe Neitzel, and PGA Tour Live Stephen Watson as we have our picks to click, our favorite things, the traditions of Augusta. Plus, we are going to be joined by a couple of kids from Wisconsin who are participating in the Drive, Chip, and Putt contest. Special edition of On the Tee, 2 hours starting at noon on Tuesday, right here, 94.5 ESPN.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins is bringing back their famous 2-foot party subs. Whether it's for a big game, family gathering, or work celebration, Cousins 2-foot party sub is sure to be a crowd pleaser. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99, feeds 5 to 8 people, and requires 24-hour notice to order. Order today through April 27th in store, online, or on their app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
What's up, guys? We're back this year with my annual Home Plate charity concert presented by American Family Insurance. We'll be at the Pabst Theater on April 17th with performances from the Goo Goo Dolls and the Nicotine Dolls. Proceeds will benefit Live Like Lou, Visit Milwaukee, and the Brewers Community Foundation. There are sponsorship opportunities and tickets on sale now, so click the link in my bio to check it out, and I'll see you there.
Christian Yelich's Home Plate charity concert presented by American Family Insurance, April 17th at the Pabst Theater. Get your tickets now at visitmilwaukee.org/Yelich.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Take me out to the ball game, roll out the barrel, and get up, get out of here, gone. There's nothing like Milwaukee baseball. The Brew Crew is back, and we're here to help you turn your tailgate or game viewing experience into a grand slam. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960 we have provided the best selection and the lowest prices. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, wine, and mixers. Over 15,000 actually, but who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. Combine our incredible selection and everyday low prices with our 2 convenient locations, and you've got your one-stop shop for game day. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, only 10 minutes from AmFam Field, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Main.
Discount Liquor.
Are you dreaming about summer in your backyard yet? Picture it. Beautiful plants, freshly mowed lawn, crisply edged flower beds, and your grilling dinner out on an incredible back patio. Landworks Wisconsin is ready to plan your green space. Locally owned and operated, Landworks prides themselves on exceptional customer service and a personal approach to all your landscaping needs. Their team of experts will work closely with you, making your property shine all year. Experience the Landworks difference. Visit landworkswisconsin.com. That's landworkswisconsin.com.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with a group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
We'll talk to Evan Cohen coming up as he graciously gave up his usual time spot so we could talk to Mel Kiper about the draft. Tausch, I want to get into this a little bit deeper later, but looking through Mel's mock draft, there are, as always, a lot of offensive linemen on the board, both just before the Packers are scheduled to pick and then shortly thereafter. And the one guy that I have to admit I'm kind of intrigued by is the offensive lineman from Ohio State who is coming off the knee injury that he had last season. Now Josh Simmons, and he stays on the board in Mel's mock until 31. And Mel writes that he'd be a top 10 pick if he was still healthy. We just got done talking about Johnny Raz. What about on the flip side, Johnny distressed asset because of an injury? I mean, you're talking about a guy who's one of the top offensive linemen in the country potentially being available, but you have to take the risk of him coming off an injury. Is that something you'd be interested in as a general principle if you were Goody, or would you steer clear of that?
Man, that makes it, I think if you have really high confidence that it's not going to be something that's lingering, and obviously, tearing an ACL or, having some of those things is not the death sentence that it was 20, 30 years ago. So that isn't going to scare you off. But if there is, if you evaluate and you see a lot of arthritis, or if you see things that you are very worried about lingering and being something that you're going to have to deal with, I would be skeptical. But that's that roll of the dice that you have to take, and sometimes you crap out. And are you willing to do that, especially in a position where you feel like you have two guys that you're going to have competing at a high level this year? I would probably say at where this team is at, if it was an offensive tackle and you're dealing with that, I would be very cautious moving forward in that regard.
So Simmons apparently visited the Packers. Adam Schefter had this. He visited yesterday along with Ibuka. Obviously, the Packers medical staff, I'm certain, spent significant time with him. His knee injury, he started 19 games at right tackle and 19 games at left tackle in college. Was at San Diego State before he transferred to Ohio State. He missed the last 10 games of last season after he tore his patellar tendon. Does that make you more leery or less leery than an ACL, Tausch?
Well, I'm just concerned anytime you're, having to go do that, whether it's an ACL or something major on your knee, there are going to be factors. It's not, you're going to be back better than ever. Yeah, you will, but that's if you get there. And when you're talking about using a high pick, you better make sure. And I'm sure Doc McKenzie and Flea and Nate and the whole crew are going to look at that in a big way, and it puts a lot of pressure on those guys, because if you sign off, guy better be ready to go.
Yep.
And anytime you're dealing with a severe knee injury, buyer beware. Bring your own bewaredness, as I like to put it.
You do. Much like you always predict the future very accurately. Bring your own bewaredness.
No, don't get... It's not what I said.
I know you didn't.
It's not what I said.
And I knew you'd react that way. And so that's why I did it. What I also do every day, besides needle you, is tell you about Gruber Law Offices. And what do I always say? I hope you never have to make the call, because that means you've never been seriously injured in an accident. But if that should happen, you want the best team on your side, and that is Gruber Law Offices. So make that one call, that's all. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666, or go to the website, gruber-law.com. Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde?
Yeah,
everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 4/30/2025. From the opening tip to the final buzzer, a Milwaukee Bucks full season membership puts you in the heart of the action for every unforgettable moment. The crowd's roar, the buzzer beater that you'll never forget, the unparalleled thrill of watching your Milwaukee Bucks live. This is more than a game. It's an experience. Get your Bucks full season membership and be a part of every game and every emotion. You'll be on your feet from start to finish. Get in on the action at bucks.com/full.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yes, you heard me correctly. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including a design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. Goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win.
At Mentality, they leave no man behind. A friend of Mentality suffered a nightmare in January when his teenage daughter was paralyzed after a truck accident. Mentality will be hosting a fundraising event on Friday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at its office, 2534 North Mayfair Road in Tosa. There will be silent auctions, a 50-50 raffle, food trucks, and free men's health screenings. All money raised will go to purchase an Action Track chair. Consider stopping by to help this local family. It's Friday, April 18th at Mentality from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
At Gruber Law Offices, our biggest priority is the care and service we provide to our clients. We know accidents can be overwhelming, and we're here to help every step of the way. Call now. One call, that's all.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoehorn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More, the place to go for. Sipping rosés with seltzers on ice. Making margaritas with your favorite tequilas. It's warm out, let's go. Our prices are low on spirits, beer, and wine. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21. This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
He is unsportsmanlike and he is unselfish. Gave up his normal time slot and adjusted his busy schedule so we could talk to Mel Kiper at 9:15. Now he joins us live. It is Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Morning. How was Mel, guys? He's with us tomorrow, 7:30 a.m., and every Wednesday. He's amazing. What a wonderful guy. How was he with you guys today?
So, before we get into that, my understanding is you, like me, are enraptured by the Inside Man, the instructional video that we watch to make sure we don't fall for any phishing or smishing or what have you, right?
I'm enraptured by that? I've watched it all, yeah. But I watch it as soon as it comes out.
I thought I remember you mentioning on a content call, because you know I love it when I bring those up, that you really enjoyed the plot line. I try to watch those.
I don't enjoy the plot line at all.
Okay, then it's just me.
I enjoy knowing that I've completed it, I've passed the quiz, and I'm not getting hacked.
Well, anyway, you can you are allowed to watch it. You can speed up the speed of the video if you need to get it done quickly. And my comment was, Mel gives you so much information about the draft that you actually have to play him at a slower rate to catch all of it. We're actually going to play it back at 11:15 for folks that missed it and for folks that even listened live and didn't hear all the good nuggets that he gave us. That's how good he is. So I would anticipate he'll be even better with you.
So he and I have developed a nice relationship because he knows, like, my fandom of his is through the roof. And I've been an obsessed draft guy forever, and I would go to the draft every year as a fan, and I'd write down all the picks while as a fan sitting there. And in 1996-5, when Tyrone Wheatley was drafted by the New York Giants, and the video is out, I have it somewhere, that on ESPN they show me in the crowd cheering when Tyrone Wheatley, Michigan running back, was drafted by the Giants at that point, and you see like 15-year-old me in the crowd.
No kidding?
Some may say I'm a child star, yeah.
Well, we know what happens to a lot of child stars. 1995, you're correct. All right, now
and if you go, and you can find the video. If you go to YouTube, it's there, and you go to that pick, you'll see me in the crowd.
All right. Well, Tausch, take over. I want to look for that video.
What? I think Mel is for. I don't know what just happened right there. Mel, I think, as a dude, he is as interesting as well because do you know he doesn't even use a cell phone? He doesn't even have a cell phone. Doing what he does?
He uses his wife's phone to get the draft for any texting. But that also, Tausch, probably is why he's so good, if you think about it, because that means every communication he has is a verbal communication where he's placing a phone call on a landline to, like, Goody or whoever. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like he just actually makes phone calls and talks to people.
Dials it up, but I got a kick out of on your guys' show today on Sportsmanlike. We're all talking about that, and Michelle Smallman and Canty, and I don't know if you thought that sounds great that you go a whole year without having a cell phone. None of y'all would ever want to do that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But everybody's shaking their head like, yeah, it'd be great. Well, no, nobody would do that, right?
I couldn't do that at this point in my life. You couldn't do it. I mean, the three of us on this show, we all have children. It feels like that's the kind of stuff like we need to. It's amazing that we.
Yeah, but our parents didn't have cell phones, and we turned out fine, right?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that I turned out fine, but they didn't have cell phones.
Fair enough.
Here's what I always.
So we were having a discussion.
Wait, but Tausch, off of that,
we were having a discussion.
Jeez.
Well, no, I couldn't. I thought you were done. You stopped. All right, continue your point.
You did.
No, I didn't.
You clearly started.
What?
Oh my God! Forget it. Just go with whatever you were going to say, Tausch.
No,
we're
go
not
ahead.
letting Tausch.
Don't be pouting. Stop pouting.
It's a letdown. It's a letdown.
Finish your point.
Okay. How did we communicate with our families, like to pick us up from the mall back in the day? And that's the thing that's like crazy to me. Or like with friends that were running, like if I were to say to friends, like, all right, let's meet at 4:15 on a Saturday at the mall, and I got there at 4:15 and they were running late, how would I know?
Just wait there. You don't have much of a choice.
I know, but isn't that wild to think about?
Do you think that's what maybe there was more responsibility it put on where you had to get there or you had you were going to be left behind if you didn't get there on time? Whereas now you just text and say, I'm running 5 minutes late?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I try to keep my word with everything I say I'm going to do, and if I'm going to be late in any capacity, I let somebody know that I'm going to be late. So I don't know how that would have worked then. It's fascinating.
I distinctly remember you had to call your own phone number to pick up your messages off your answering machine. Like if you were going to Summerfest in Milwaukee and trying to triangulate meeting someone, you would call their home number, leave them a voicemail, and then hope that they called back to check their number, check their messages on their voicemail at home. That's the thing that I remember on how you tried to connect with people before texting and cell phones. I am happy to report I have found the video. I'm very excited about it. I'm cropping it right now so we can show it on the video stream since Evan is joining us via the phone. Evan, when you look at the draft now, we see you in this video with your notepad and your V-neck sweater. I am curious, how into it are you leading into the draft? Because this is a question I want to ask our fans, too. Like, there are some people that are obsessed with it. They're checking every mock draft. They're putting together their own big board like Mel. Where do you fall on the NFL draft industrial complex?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I probably, back in the day when I was a kid, loved it even more, which is wild to say. But, I still love it, and I still love all of the possibilities, and I still think now with Shedeur Sanders, there are so many possibilities. Like last year, for example, when Michael Penix Jr. was drafted by the Falcons, that moment was amazing, right? That moment where, nobody saw it coming, and obviously he was a great quarterback in college, but, they just signed Kirk Cousins, and you still are able to have those moments. Obviously, in Wisconsin, we think about when Aaron Rodgers slipped and fell to the Packers, obviously one of the greatest things that ever happened to the franchise and having that pick. And, like, there's still those moments for a sporting event in a way that, like, you're almost guaranteed surprises. And I think that's the best thing that we have.
Well, not if you're reading Mel Kiper's mock drafts, because then you're on top of everyone that he's got going to Green Bay. All right, Evan, when I look at RAS score, we spent some time talking about that. We know you had your storied high school quarterbacking career. I don't know what your RAS score was coming out then. But do you think that this is, maybe you could talk about this with Mel tomorrow since we didn't get to it with him. Do you think paying too much attention to that is problematic for the draft? I always think of Mike Mamula as the name that always springs up as a workout guy that didn't work out as a player. I'm sure you wrote down his name at some point during your time chronicling the draft. Do you view that as a mistake? Because we think Goody tends to lean a little bit too far into that.
I don't even know what RAS is.
Relative Athletic Score.
I've never heard of that until right now. Am I supposed to have heard of that?
Jason, way to show him up. Oh, way to show him up. Yeah, everybody's heard of RAS.
Relative
Athletic
Score?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a cat, and I keep forgetting his name. He's a 9.9 out of 10.
9.99. Shamar Stewart, defensive end, Texas A&M.
A&M guy who has low. Yeah, he's through the roof in terms of his athleticism and everything. He's going to be great, but his sack numbers are very low.
Yep.
So the question is, and this was one of the things that I think Jason and I were talking about. Rashawn Gary had a high RAS score, didn't have a ton of sacks at Michigan. And at some point, everybody wants great athletes. Everybody wants those great athletes to be incredibly productive players. Where do you draw that line of saying, all right, you have that athleticism, 9.999, which is off the charts, or do you go 9.3 but has a ton of productive film that has shown that you're beating guys and making plays? How you balance that, and I think for Goody, who really leans on the RAS, how do you at some point say, maybe I want that RAS score to be high, but I can't just utilize that as a crutch to always go to this is what we believe in, even though maybe you don't get the production that you're looking for 4 or 5 years down the road?
All right, so let me kind of reverse engineer this a little bit, Tausch. Let's go back, and I'm not going to actually make fun of you. I'm going to compliment you. You played a decade in the NFL. You were not highly touted coming out of college.
I was not.
Well, weren't you? Okay. So and you were a 7th-round pick at the right tackle position, right?
Correct.
What was it that made them want to draft you? Because my guess is there was something in there that I would look for, which is some level of overcoming something, right? Whether it's RAS, it's whatever the hell stuff you're making up here. But like I look at Shedeur, just for argument's sake. People look at him as like Silver Spoon, Deion's son. He went to Jackson State in Colorado. He wasn't the Alabama quarterback. Like he overcame something, right? Like, what about that? Like, why did they want you? Seriously.
Now, you'd have to ask Ron. I think the battle that you always are looking for is how much do you see on film against a certain quality of competition, and then how much of the projections and the stats and the analytics say you have to do this at a certain clip number-wise in order to have a long career. That's the battle line that GMs are always fighting, and you can see something on film and say, I love it, but then I see the numbers and say, well, the numbers tell me this isn't sustainable. How you balance that, and you can't be skewed so far in the RAS area where you don't have the RAS to get it done on the field, but you still have the grit and all the other things that you can't measure. You want to have everything. Very few players do.
Yeah, I think the reality is, like, there's no right answer. Right? Because, like, you're looking at you who should not have been as good as you were, and then you're looking at, let's just say this guy Stewart from Texas A&M, who should be Reggie White. But you were much better than they thought you would be, and we don't know if this guy's going to be the late, great Reggie White. So I don't know. That's the whole thing is inexact science. It's why nobody's actually good at it or great at it in terms of every single year, and it's why if you're not sure what you have with an organization, getting more chances at it is probably the best thing you could do. Like, we stumbled on a conversation about the Cincinnati Bengals and how much help did they need, and that's why I kept saying, like, hey, Trey Henderson and Trey T. Higgins, because you probably get 2 additional picks for each of those guys. Right now we have more chances at it. Or when the Packers obviously did that with Devontae Adams, I think they have more chances at that because there is no exact science of figuring this out. How many guys have we watched at UW-Madison or anywhere else, and by the way, Day of the Badger, I wore the shirt today, no big deal, on TV, that how many guys...
Not on our show.
Oh, that guy... Well, yeah, I'm driving. Sorry, you guys screwed up my schedule.
Not a video guy. No. Not a video guy.
No.
Just too bad.
But how many guys at Wisconsin did you think, oh, they're going to be big-time guys, and they weren't, and vice versa?
Yeah.
So it's inexact.
Fair point. It's definitely
like how many
inexact.
guys? Tausch.
Yes.
Let's be real about this.
Yes.
Okay. How many guys on your offensive line at UW-Madison had better careers than you had in the NFL?
I don't know. I think if you look at the guys I played with, Casey Robach and I played the longest out of that group in the NFL.
Okay. And how many of them, while we were in college, because we were in college at the same time, basically, how many of them would we have thought would have had better careers than you? Almost all of them. And I don't mean that to be... Yeah. I mean, think of Aaron Gibson.
Not disagreeing with you.
You had a better NFL career than Aaron Gibson, right?
I would probably say so, yeah.
You had a better NFL career than Chris McIntosh, right?
I would probably say so, yeah.
Okay. Costa, Ferrario, those guys.
Look at you dropping the 1998 offensive line.
That's a hot topic.
Yeah, I mean...
Al Johnson was a much better player than you. You had a better career.
Okay.
Right?
I'm going to let you make those things. Listen, a lot of this always
here's
comes
the point.
back
You're
to...
asking all these whatever questions.
No, I can't believe you've never heard of Raz. Like, for a draft guru, and you're on the screen, I think Raz has been around. Well, you love the draft. You do.
Yeah, sorry. Raz, I know Raz Dowling was a second-round pick out of Virginia for the Patriots a few years ago.
What about Raz Al Ghul? Do you know who that is?
How about Razul Douglas? How do you not remember that? Razul.
I do remember that.
All right. Having successfully tracked down this video, and I'm very excited about it because it is fun, I am curious now, what was it like going to the draft as a 15-year-old you were a Giants fan, right? Not a Jets fan?
No, growing up I was a Giants fan, and then when the Giants became the Patriots, I just started rooting for the Patriots.
Yep. And so we're going to have a lot of young people.
Yeah, when the Patriots started winning, Evan started rooting for the Patriots.
Correct, yeah. When all the Giants guys like Parcells and Belichick and company went there, and then they drafted this Brady guy.
There's going to be a lot of 15-year-old kids that are going to be giddy about being at the draft in 18 days. They're going to be like a young Evan Cohen was at Carnegie Hall or wherever they did that at the time. Where was that in 1995?
I was at the theater at Madison Square Garden. So there's a theater right next. People may not realize this. At Madison Square Garden, there's the arena, obviously, with the Knicks, Rangers, and concerts, WWE, et cetera. But there's a theater next door. So that was when the draft was only on Saturday. And I'd go, my friends and I would go. We'd literally take the train in from Westchester County, New York. We'd go in, and we'd get there at like 10 in the morning because you'd have to wait online for free tickets. And then you'd leave at like 10 at night when the 3 rounds were done. And, oh, by the way, they would do this prediction thing where you'd fill out the top picks in the draft and you'd hand it in. And all the fans there, and I won. So I still, in my house to this day, have a Giants helmet that they sent me because I got most right in the first round of the draft.
That's incredible.
That is awesome.
All right,
I was really cool even early in my life. Let me tell you, I was so cool.
Did you know Tyrone Wheatley is now the head football coach at Wayne State?
I did not, but I know
There's
the
no way
Patriots
he knew
traded
that.
for his son. His Patriots traded for his son last year, a tackle, or 2 years ago, and he was terrible.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if they're doing the prediction thing at the Green Bay draft, but what is the environment like? What are 15-year-olds that want to be just like you with their little notepads going to experience in the theater that they are currently building on Oneida Street?
It's awesome. I mean, it's just a great thing to do, and you could sit there and say, well, all they're doing is announcing names, but that's really not what they're doing. It's such an unbelievable environment to be at the NFL draft and to be a part of this just unbelievable party that goes on. And there's just memories forever. I was there when Warren Sapp and Randy Moss were slipping, right, years ago. I was there when Kyle Brady got drafted by the Jets and the fans were booing like crazy. I was there when Keyshawn was drafted. I was there for all of these moments that you just remember back. And, that's going to be the coolest thing. So if you're a Packers fan and you're going and, let's just say they draft somebody who ends up being amazing and you were there for it, or if somebody slips, if Shedeur Sanders all of a sudden has slipped all the way to 26 to the Rams, being there for it, there's just an amazing environment to be there. And you're with all these sports fans and football fans in the great state of Wisconsin, and I would strongly advise going and being a part of it.
What was the last year you went as a
I'm
fan?
watching this video. I can't see. Is Evan?
Oh,
Evan,
come
were you
on.
pretty chunky?
He's front and center right after Paul
Where?
Tagliabue starts walking. There he is.
Oh,
right
is that
there.
him with the notepad there and the visor on?
He's excited.
Yeah,
There's a guy behind him with a banner, a pennant.
Okay.
He's pumped.
Of course I had a notepad.
okay.
Tausch, what's the matter with you?
Oh, yeah.
Is he the chunky guy?
Well,
the guy,
as much
the guy
grief
you're
as
talking about's got a mustache and glasses.
You were
about
that
to ask
guy.
Evan if he was
It was
chunky
the
as a
second
kid.
time around. I thought when the video scanned over,
are you this,
it was
hey, I know you said you were 15, but are you this middle-aged guy with a mustache and Coke bottle glasses?
That's actually the guy that was drafted. Oh, wait. You thought
Right
I was
there,
watching
that
this?
kid. That's where I thought it was.
Wait, at 18 seconds in or something?
No, it's 5 seconds in. Okay, yeah, that was me. That was on me.
But you know what the wild part is? You know what the wild
Not
part?
that
You're
guy.
watching the. You're watching the
It's
the
not
draft
the
for
dude
95.
in the tracksuit and the stash. It's not who I thought.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
The guy's 40 years old.
That's not who I thought.
The guy is older there than I am now.
Yeah, that's not for the record. That is not who I thought it was.
All right.
I
gotta go work on my Raz.
All right. Oh boy.
Evan, this would make you about 83 now. Says that guy was in his late 40s in that video.
I'm the youngest person by many years on this air right now. So let's ease up there, old boy.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be a you know what, and that's not the guy. There you are, right there. Look at you. Look at you. Happier than a clam.
Evan, we appreciate it.
I gave the Kobe/MJ fist bump there, and I had a notebook in hand even at 15 years old, baby.
Yes, and then a guy behind you got very excited when the camera was in his face, and Tausch thought it was you. All right, Evan, we appreciate you. Thank you.
See ya, bye.
Well, you mischaracterized who I thought was Evan Cohen, too, just for the record. Not that guy. That is not who I thought. But I digress. I'll tell you what, I need a Coors Light after that. Coors Light, brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged, so it is made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans. They are blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection. So it is always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly, Coors Brewing Company. I go, then. Colorado.
From now on, when Evan's not allowed to join us on video for whatever reason, this will be the picture we put up instead.
I just want to make sure. I got to get a screenshot of the guy that Tausch thought was Evan Cohen.
Well, that is not the guy, for the record. That's not him.
Well, that's the story, and I'm sticking with it. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
Evan Cohen on Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Verizon. Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL. Visit a Milwaukee area Verizon store today. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more. Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Strong mind, strong body, and strong communities. That is what you need to know about the Princeton Club, and that is what you can achieve at the Princeton Club of New Berlin. When you walk in there, you will feel completely motivated to better yourself just like everyone else is doing. I've done personal training. They have saunas. They have workout classes. They have basketball courts. They have indoor-outdoor swimming pools. It all starts with a tour. Check it out. You're going to fall in love. Free childcare with the membership, open 24/7. Check out the Princeton Club of New Berlin. Get your tour and take that small step to a bigger journey for a better tomorrow. That's at theprincetonclub.net.
It's time for you and that diamond to come alive again.
At the 4th annual Spring Ring Cleaning at Kessler's.
Even if you have a good ultrasonic jewelry cleaner, it can't match the pressurized steam cleaning we do at Kessler's.
Let us steam clean and polish your engagement ring.
For free.
I'm Joe Gerke, president of Kessler's, and we want to strip away all the soap scum that is making your diamond look dull.
For free. And while we're doing it, we'll inspect the prongs on your ring to make sure your diamond isn't about to fall out.
It's the 4th annual Spring Ring Cleaning at Kessler's.
Here's another idea. Bring us anything you own that needs to be repaired, and we'll give you a price to make it like new again.
And if you have some old jewelry you don't wear anymore,
we can make something unique and wonderful out of it.
Unique in all the world.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Julie Granger is the president of Junior Achievement of Wisconsin. Julie, your organization has business technology from James Imaging Systems. Yet today, please tell us about Junior Achievement's unique mission.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has a mission of inspiring and preparing young people for success in a global economy. We serve students anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade, and we just started serving young adults 18 to 25.
I understand financial literacy is also an important part of your mission.
Financial literacy is critical to the long-term success of every individual so that they can plan their futures and they can live their dreams.
To help turn those dreams into reality, how can everyone get involved?
We are looking for people who are willing to donate their time, treasure, and talent to the organization.
What's the first step?
The best way to reach us is through our website, wisconsin.ja.org.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
He's got a Chevrolet that don't always run and the radio never turns down. He's got a pedigree.
Thanks again to Evan Cohen and the bonus video content from the NFL Draft 1995. 30 years later, he'll be back here in Wisconsin for the NFL Draft, as the Packers are the host team and Green Bay the host city for the 2025 NFL Draft. I do want to, I don't want to say it's a critique, but is that on me to think that everyone knew what RAS scores were? I felt like that was fairly commonplace.
I would think someone that was nerding out with a notepad back in the 80s would probably know what RAS is, but I think the average everyday fan, probably not. But to expect Evan, who's Johnny Draft, to not know, yeah, I don't have a problem with you putting that on him. Not at all.
I'm curious to see how this year plays out, because I don't. You made a really good point earlier about the idea of if you keep banging your head against, I think you said a pole, not the wall, but you keep banging your head against the RAS score pole and you don't get results. I don't feel like Goody is at a place where he's willing to say this is not the right approach. I just don't believe that.
No, and I think when you look at the guys that he's drafted, you've seen enough glimpses to say, yeah, these guys are pro. I mean, they're pros, and I think for the most part they've been solid players, which if you do that in the 4th and 5th round, you're very happy about. But when you're talking about 1st and 2nd round picks, you expect more than what you've gotten from a vast majority of them, and that's that balance. And I think, you need to get that high-end productivity from guys that are 1st and 2nd round picks, because that's why you're picking them as high as you are. And if you don't have a high RAS score, the odds of you being a highly productive player drop off precipitously. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but the analytics and the odds would tell you it would be a lot more difficult.
All right, we need to get to the 11 o'clock hour, which will include a replay of our conversation with Mel Kiper. But before we get to the 11 o'clock hour, Tausch, tell us again about this great contest that you and Kohler Services and ESPN Wisconsin and GKB have going right now.
Very excited about this, and you get an opportunity. If you think that your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, well, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest, and you get a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yes, you heard me correctly. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services. That includes design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. Just upload that photo by April 30th to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win a free Kohler Services Lugstone shower. Again, that needs to be done by April 30th.
We will kick off the 11 o'clock hour, and we'll do it in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion, or your first big lightning strike, There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Quality isn't just a promise, it's a process. At Higher Love, they craft with integrity, delivering farm-to-table products you can trust. As the only clean green certified organic cultivator in the Upper Peninsula, Higher Love takes pride in growing pure premium products, meaning better quality at better value and a difference you can feel. You can find Higher Love just across the border in Menominee and Ironwood, or at any of their 9 locations throughout the UP. Get more information at findhigherlove.com/CBD.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. We will get to Tucker Kraft and Lucas Van Ness tomorrow. Been a lot of moving parts here today on the program, so I have not managed to get the audio to Jesse of Tucker Kraft promoting. I'm a little disappointed in his branding, because he had his opportunity to drop the Pickler by name. And it was a missed opportunity, I thought. Just talking pickleball.
Okay.
So you got to coach him up on that.
Right.
He did reference his brand, though, which I always enjoy when people mention their brands.
Great places, South Dakota.
But he does live in Wisconsin full time. He and his wife, who is expecting, due in July. So we will.
That's a veteran move. Have that baby due the end of July. Get you a couple days of training camp. Veteran move already.
You did not. Did you successfully schedule that to miss any practice time, or were you? It was late in your career, right?
It was late. I think from a standpoint, the go to that was Cliff. I don't know how many days of training camp he missed with. You want to have your kids August. Get you a couple days during the heat of training camp. You don't want it to be like late July. You want it to be like Aug 8, Aug 9.
Okay.
That's where you want. That's the sweet spot. I think, guys, I don't know, man. You got to be very calculated to figure that out.
Jeez.
But I'm pretty sure there were some guys that were.
Or if you're not calculated enough and your wife is due right around the time you guys are playing in a playoff game, Mike McCarthy offers you a flight on the team plane home if you need it. All right, so I want to get to the replay of Mel Kiper so people who missed it early can hear it, and if you listened originally, you can hear it again, because there's listening to Jesse replay one of the clips in there. We were talking so quickly, I didn't even hear the exact numbers that he had for wide receivers in the first, second, and third round. Now I've heard it on SportsCenter during the top of the hour. I remain curious because, and you'll hear Mel say this, in his mock draft, the Packers taking yet another Georgia guy. Mm-hmm. I guess they need one after letting Eric Stokes leave in free agency. But Mikael Williams, who's an outside linebacker at Georgia, that would be another edge rushing opportunity. Mel writes in his pick, the Packers had 45 sacks last season, tied for 8th, but that's a little misleading. They were really good at converting pressure into sacks, but they got pressure only 29.8% of the time, which ranked 22nd. Williams was hindered by an ankle injury in 2024, which limited him to 5 sacks over 12 games, but he has the explosive traits to be an extremely effective edge rusher. Other spots of interest would be receiver and cornerback, so expect Green Bay to take a look at guys like Emeka Egbuka or Kentucky corner Maxwell Hairston, too. So that's what Mel said in his mock draft. We will hear what Mel had to say in its entirety coming up next after Tausch tells us about the Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
Oh, excited. Brand new partner. Love the new Hard Rock Casino in Rockford. And I've said this for a while. My trips down to Chicago for hockey or to fly out of town, always looking off of Highway 90 there, heading through Rockford. Left-hand side, that big old guitar, and the purple, and the gold. Can't wait. Excited to get down there. Over 175,000 square feet of gaming and entertainment space, including more than 1,300 slot machines, 50 live table games, a sports book, and a rock shop. Hard Rock Casino Rockford showcases a museum-worthy collection of more than 500 pieces of authentic music memorabilia, including items from artists like Prince, Cheap Trick, Eddie Vedder, the Blues Brothers, and Taylor Swift. I don't know if Sabrina Carpenter's in there yet, but I've been hearing a lot of Sabrina Carpenter. A lot of Sabrina Carpenter. Again, head over Hard Rock Casino, a premier entertainment destination just off of I-90 in Rockford, Illinois.
Can't recommend this enough, so stay tuned if you're listening now. I'm going to tweet out the links again to the YouTube as well. Mel Kiper from our conversation earlier in the show. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
The excitement is building for Walk MS. Join in and be part of an unforgettable display of support and love surrounding people with multiple sclerosis. It takes a whole community to end this disease. This May, all over the state, witness firsthand the MS community coming to life like never before, including on Sunday, May 4th at the Summerfest grounds for Walk MS Milwaukee. Visit walkms.org today and plan to join us around Wisconsin. That's May 4th at the Summerfest grounds.
Hey football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets for the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone where you'll be taken care of like a first-round pick. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois. Age 21 years or older. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
Finding the right seat for a Milwaukee Bucks game is easy with our Seat for You guide. Whether you're on a budget, need flexibility with your schedule, or want to bring the whole crew, we've got options to fit your needs. The best part? You just have to answer a few quick questions at bucks.com/seat4you. No matter what you're looking for, there's a seat with your name on it. Find the ticket option that works best for you at bucks.com/seat4you.
Oh my gosh, Allie, did you look at Janet's roof? Ugh, it's like so flat. It looks like one of those roofing contractor commercials.
Who even understands those roofing guys anyways?
I like flat roofs and I cannot lie. You want the contractors can't deny. TPO way up high. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring.
If you want a roof that's worth staring at, Avondale Roofing is where you go. Your roofing experts for over 30 years. AvondaleRoofing.com.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
At Mentality, they leave no man behind. A friend of Mentality suffered a nightmare in January when his teenage daughter was paralyzed after a truck accident. Mentality will be hosting a fundraising event on Friday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at its office, 2534 North Mayfair Road in Tosa. There will be silent auctions, a 50-50 raffle, food trucks, and free men's health screenings. All money raised will go to purchase an Action Track chair. Consider stopping by to help this local family. It's Friday, April 18th at Mentality from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Introducing the newest carbless flavor,
Mango Vodka. Flavored with the essence of the ripest, freshest mangoes, carbless mango vodka will transport your taste buds to a sunny beach getaway. New flavor, still the same carbless crafted cocktails with 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and only 100 calories. Enjoy a refreshing vodka cocktail without the guilt. 4-packs of the new carbless mango vodka cocktail are available in stores near you. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and escape with every sip.
At Citizens Bank, community banking is you, growing your business with a partner who gets it. It's you, buying your first home with a lender who makes it easy. It's you, building a future with savings that work just as hard as you. And it's us, working together to strengthen our community. Because at Citizens Bank, community banking means you plus us. Visit us at citizensbankwi.bank. Citizens Bank is member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
He is the OG, the Godfather, the GOAT of NFL draft analysis. And after last year's debacle, I can't believe he came back after the allegations thrown his direction. It is the great Mel Kiper on Wilde and Tausch. Mel, good morning. Thanks for joining us. How are you, buddy?
I'm surviving. I was just told this morning that Johnny Unitas couldn't play in the NFL right now by Field Yates. I'm a little fired up right now, to tell you the truth.
Well, Packers fans are fired up, too. I know we only have you briefly, shorter than normal, and I tend to be long-winded, as you well know. So I'm going to talk fast like you do when you're talking about prospects. Tell me about Emeka Egbuka, because the Packers are having him in on a visit, and Packers fans haven't seen a wide receiver drafted in the first round since 2002 in Javon Walker.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that's why I put Jack Besh, the wide receiver from TCU, in the second round of the Packers. The comp would be Jordy Nelson. But in terms of Emeka Egbuka, a professional receiver. He blocks. He'll make the tough catch in traffic. Unselfish player. Ran 4.48, so he didn't run quite as fast as they thought he would. So their camp thought maybe 4.39 to 4.42, but it wasn't 4.5 to 4.55 like some thought. So but good hands. Had a couple drops this year, but it was just concentration drops. That's it. He's got really good hands. Precise route runner, can play slot or wide. Just a great kid. Just a true professional in his approach. Studies the game. Works hard. First one on the practice field. I mean, he's just all about ball. So Emeka Egbuka, I think late first, early second round.
Mel, you have the Packers going outside linebacker. What position group do you think there's the most depth at? Because I think any defensive lineman Packer fans would be pretty excited about, wide receiver, corner. What position group do you think is the deepest in this year's draft?
Well, I think that each one you can find a couple guys that might slip through the cracks, but I do think defensive tackle in particular is good. Edge rushers, it's kind of some people are high on some, a little excited about others, and down on some. So Michael Williams is who I gave the Packers in the first round, had the ankle injury, and that prevented him from having the year expected. But he played through that injury. He didn't shut it down like a lot of guys do these days when they get hurt, just preparing for the NFL draft, getting healthy. So I give Michael Williams a lot of credit. He didn't test great, but like I said, I would have loved to have seen him at 100% all year, and he still produced some disruptive plays and some hurries and sacks off the edge. So I debated him or Maxwell Hairston, the corner from Kentucky, who had a big year 2 years ago. Then he had the shoulder injury this year. He tested great, ran under 4.4. He's the kind of guy I think goes in the late first round. So there's going to be some corners that you're going to be looking at. Olufemi Oladejo from UCLA is a pass rusher moving up. Donovan Ezeraku, pass rusher from Boston College, moving up. So there are going to be some pass rushers and some corners that are going to be there at that point for the Packers to consider.
Mel, when you look at this wide receiver crop, we've talked with you every year, and they've been so good for so long. Not as good this year as a whole. How do you view it?
It's not. It really isn't. I think certainly Travis Hunter is a great player, but he can play corner or wide receiver. But Matthew Golden has come on to really establish himself as the number one wide receiver. You just take Travis Hunter out of the equation. Tedero McMillan has slid down just a bit, but I still like him coming out of Arizona. We talked about Ibuka. Luther Burden III was expected to be out of Missouri, a top 15 pick. His stock dropped. It's come back a little bit. I think he's a borderline late first, early second. I mentioned Jack Best from TCU. His teammate Savion Williams has a chance to be a good second, third round pick for somebody. And Jaden Higgins from Iowa State's moved up to the point where he could be, like I say, solidly in that second round discussion, as will his teammate Jalen Knoll from Iowa State. And an underrated player, I think, is my kid here right around in my area in Maryland, the Terrapins, is a kid named Ty Felton, who caught a lot of passes. I thought tested well, good athlete with sure hands and toughness. Kyle Williams is a really good game breaker, deep threat out of Washington State. So there are some guys. Jalen Royals, Utah State, a little underrated. But these are all these guys I'm mentioning are basically, I think 6 to 7 will go in the second. I think another 5 or 6 in the third. So first round, though, you're probably going to only have, after Hunter, 2 to 3 probably. Some think 4. I think 2 to 3 receivers after Hunter go in the first round.
Mel, outside of Abdul Carter, is there a surefire, this guy is going to be able to get after the quarterback at a high level right away? Because that's a spot I know Packer fans are looking at saying, man, we could use some upgrades along that group.
Yeah, Mike Green from Marshall I have going to Atlanta. If he were around, he certainly had a tremendous year, as did Ezeraku from Boston College. They were the two best in terms of most production, the two best pass rushers this year in college football. Oladejo moved from off-ball to outside at UCLA and really came on. He's a name to just think about in the late first, early second round. People are getting more enamored with him as we move through the process. And really the polarizing player in this group is James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. I thought he would be back in August, really competing with Michael Williams, maybe be a top 5 pick or number 1 pick overall. Didn't produce the results expected. Tested pretty well, but he's a borderline first-round pick too, so he'll be in that mix when the Packers are on the clock. So overall, after that group, there's a drop-off. I like David Walker out of Central Arkansas. I think he's a late 2, but after that, there's not a lot to speak of. So no, this is not a year in terms of, you got to get lucky. You got to get really fortunate. Even a Shamar Stewart, the number 1 true defensive end, he had 1.5 sacks this past year. He'd had 0 sacks the last 7 games, the last 3 years. So we're not talking about a lot of guys you're going to say, boy, they're coming out with great numbers and great production and dominated over a 1-2 year period. We're not seeing that in terms of the pass rushers coming out this year, outside of Abdul Carter, who this year, when he was unleashed off the edge after playing off ball, put up huge numbers. So he's the special guy, Carter is. That's why he's going second or third in the draft. And all these other guys are going, mid to late, most of these guys late first round.
Talking with Mel Kiper on Wilde and Tausch. Mel, you mentioned Shamar Stewart. He came in for a visit as well, and we know that Goody doesn't squander his top 30 visits on subterfuge. Give our fans a little bit better idea because, as you mentioned, the production not there, the potential there, though. What do you feel about him? I see you've got him going 29th right now to the Commanders.
Yeah, I thought about 17 to the Bengals. There were plenty of spots you could put Shamar Stewart if teams want to roll the dice on talent. Talking about a kid that he's the LTPer of this draft at defensive end. He looks the part. You put him in a computer and you say, what do we need physically, athletically? Checks every box. But then you say, okay, if you want production, and when you watch him, he's blocked by guys who aren't going to play in the NFL. I mean, it's just not the fact that people say, well, he got hurries. I went to games where he just wasn't dominating. He wasn't making his presence felt against guys, like I say, who are not going to be playing in the National Football League on those offensive lines that he went up against. That's disturbing. That certainly has to be concerning when you talk about 1.5 sacks, not only this year, but each of the last 3 years, okay? Mm-hmm. That's 4.5 for his career. As I said, the last 7 games of the last 3 seasons, he did not record a sack. Now, Oweh came out of Penn State, went to my Baltimore Ravens, didn't have a sack his final year at Penn State, had 10 sacks this past year with the Ravens. He's still not a great pass rusher. He's not what they thought he would be, but he had sacks this past year. Hunter came out of LSU, went in with the 4th round, has 99 career sacks. Danielle Hunter does. So there have been, outliers, guys that didn't have the sack production in college that did in the NFL, but they're few and far between.
Thank God you talk fast because I know we're limited on time. Mel, your often radio co-host Gabe Neitzel, who says hello, by the way, is concerned.
Oh, Silent Neitzel. There we go.
He is concerned about the Packers' cornerback group, especially if they're going to move on from Jair Alexander. What do you see in this draft, both around where they're picking at 23 and then later on in the draft that they could get on day 2 or day 3?
Well, that's like you say, what can they get down the line? And I think if they don't take the corner, in the first-round corners that will be in the mix will be Maxwell Hairston, Kentucky, and Azareye'h Thomas from Florida State, and Trey Amos from Ole Miss. I think there's a couple injured corners that are going to be interesting. Benjamin Morrison and Savone Revel Jr. were hurt this year, didn't finish out the year, only played early on, and didn't have this final year to really rise up boards and get into the first round. Where will they go? Medical is going to be big for both Morrison and Revel Jr. Darian Porter out of Iowa State's raw, talented, be great on special teams early on. What does he develop into? Then you get into a lot of guys that are hit or miss. So it's not, there's a lot of guys that have a chance, but they're not defined. So most of these other corners are 3rd, 4th rounders. Guys like, Quincy Riley, Louisville, Caleb Ransaw, Tulane, Mac McWilliams, UCF, down to Upton Stout from Western Kentucky. It's just not a lot of guys that you say, I know what I'm getting here. I know I get a potential starter. I might get a nickel dime, but I'm not necessarily getting even a number 2 corner. So that's a position you got to just, like I say, you got to get the right guy because there's going to be some disappointments in that group.
All right, Mal, we got to get your Badger guys' evaluations. Hunter Wooler, I think, is going to be the first Badger off the board. What do you see from him? Where do you think he's going to go?
I think he goes day 3. It just depends upon whether it's the 5th, 6th, 7th round area. I liked him at Wisconsin. Obviously, a really good player. He tackles well. He's got a chance in the NFL. We thought Jim Leonard come out of his program, and then we gave him a shot. And look what Jim Leonard developed into. Hunter Wooler's going to have a chance to make a team. We'll see what happens in terms of down the road. DK left to go to Florida, the wide receiver, and he's moved up to the point where he could be in the mix to maybe be a 3rd round draft choice. So overall, I think you look at where Wooler will go. Like I say, somewhere mid to late day 3.
And how about Jack Nelson and Joe Huber, both offensive linemen? And I know you have a high affinity for Wisconsin linemen.
Some of them,
where do you
anyway.
think those guys go? Yeah,
I do. Jack Nelson, definitely. Jack Nelson right now is my 10th. He has the same grade as anywhere between 10 and 13 on the offensive tackle board right now. I have a 3rd, 4th round grade on Jack Nelson. So, yes, he will go probably ahead of Wooler the way it looks right now and be a guy. Like I said, DK left to go to Florida. He'll be, like I say, in that 3rd round mix. But I think you would look at Jack Nelson as a guy. And an offensive tackle group where a lot of these guys are projecting to guard. It just has not turned out to be a great group of tackles. You have to get past maybe the 12th, 13th tackle. Good luck on that. So you're going to have to, most of these guys will be late round picks. So there's not a lot of depth at that position because, like I said, a lot of these guys, I'm moving inside to the guard spot.
Hard to believe that Tausch's projection for a Wisconsin pick was not as accurate as yours was. Mel, we know you got to do TV. We appreciate you. You're the best. Thanks.
Say hi to Gabe for me.
Will do. That is Mel Kiper Jr. You can watch him on First Take coming up momentarily, I believe, but you're going to stay tuned to us as well on YouTube and across ESPN Wisconsin. So that was Mel Kiper as Jesse transitions from
What a pro.
Look at that.
Well done,
Can't
Jesse.
even tell.
I thought for sure there was going to be some butchering going on there.
I was pretty confident I was going to mess it up at some point, too, so I can't believe we actually did it right. How about that?
Well, if we're waiting for you to mess something up, now's the time. It's time for Whoa Nelly. That's what we'll do next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde?
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 4/30/2025.
Biz Expo is May 13th at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn from the experts at the strategy seminars and keynote presentation on resilient leadership. Connect with business leaders and customers at Biz Expo May 13th. Register at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
Looking to transform your home with stylish furniture and home accessories without breaking the bank? At your local IKEA in Oak Creek, they believe everyone deserves a beautiful and affordable living experience that enhances your everyday life. From comfortable and fashionable sofas and sectionals, to kitchens full of inspiration, to bedrooms designed to help you find your best sleep and relaxation, IKEA's home furnishing combines form and function to fit any lifestyle and budget. Visit IKEA Oak Creek today or explore their collection online at ikea.com/US.
There's a winning magic powering up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This April, prepare for an exciting quest to $300,000 in the Enchanted Spin Slot Tournament. Just conjure your rewards card and play slots to earn drawing entries. Each Thursday, 60 winners will compete for thousands in cash and prizes. Let your journey begin with Enchanted Spins, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Welcome to the SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament. A chance to punch your ticket to the playoffs and earn a spot on the main stage.
Their title hopes are still alive.
But to prove you've got what it takes, you've got to take somebody's place.
What a finish!
Every game, every play, and every moment matters. All you got to do is win to get in. Don't miss the SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament April 15th through 18th on ESPN and TNT.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
In season, off season, draft season. Whatever season it is, we are Milwaukee's place to talk green and gold. Listen, watch, or stream live whenever, wherever. 94.5 ESPN.
I see Jesse's already got the podcast version of our conversation with Mel Kiper posted on Spotify as well if you've been in and out of your car and haven't been able to catch the entirety of it. So it'll be there for you after the show ends. But it's time now for Whoa Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Congratulations to the Florida Gators. National champions in men's college basketball, 65-63 winners last night. Pretty fun game to watch. A lot of fouls, a lot of stoppages, but close throughout. Florida comes back from down double digits. They came back in each of their last 4, I think it was, NCAA tournament victories, including against UConn, Auburn. Significant wins for the Florida Gators. Fun tournament. Decent tournament. Didn't really care about the tournament. Tausch, you barely watched the tournament. I don't know if you're the person to ask this question to.
Yeah, I'll let Jason take this. It was the fact that Duke didn't win and got beat the way they did on Saturday was fun. But outside of that, it was chalky.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to chalkiness. I don't want my gum being chalky, but I've always said I like when the regular season, the teams that had really good regular seasons, it should equate to playoff success. Now, there's always outliers, but I like when the teams that have the best regular seasons are scrapping and competing to see who wins the championship. That is a good thing. That's why I think the NBA gets it right more so. And while it maybe isn't as dramatic, yet the best teams in college basketball fighting it out the last weekend of the season. I think that's a good thing for college hoops.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. Frankly, I didn't love the 4 number 1 seeds all getting to the Final Four. Last year, it was UConn and Purdue, which were both number 1 seeds in the championship game, but Alabama was a 4 and NC State was an 11. The year before that, the Final Four was 4th seeded UConn, 5th seeded San Diego State, 5th seeded Miami, and 9th seeded Florida Atlantic. So I didn't love the chalk. I didn't like the fact that I love the fact that Tausch was going to let me answer, and then he answered. I did not like the fact that the highlight for me was seeing Duke lose. I really wanted to see Wisconsin deliver on Tausch's prediction, despite not going through Milwaukee. And that was really disappointing. I also wanted to see Marquette make a deep run, and instead they lost early. And our guy, TJ Otzelberger at Iowa State, also went down to defeat in Milwaukee as a number 3 seed. So I found the tournament to be meh. And then last night, it was a close game, but I don't want to hear anybody bringing up the 2000 Final Four. There was certainly some shot making last night, but there was a lot of defense played last night, and I was impressed with Houston. But if you didn't like defense, you were disappointed with the game.
Whoa, Nelly!
We weren't impressed with their last 4 possessions, and especially
the last one. Yeah.
Ugh.
The last 2, they didn't even get a shot off on either of them.
Just shoot the ball.
Okay.
The jumping
You're down
up
2.
and then
Go to the hoop. What are we doing?
They were
Go
playing
to the
for
hoop.
the win. Playing for the win and wanted to.
Well, I don't mind that, but
Should have
if
started
they're not
earlier
going
in
to
the
guard
clock.
you, go. Yeah.
The jumping up and throwing the ball down onto the ground and then trying to box out so someone else can touch it next was an interesting. I don't think that's what they drew up in the huddle.
Could he have kicked it? Like up in the air?
I don't think so.
I don't think you can intentionally do it. So if he could have successfully somehow faked where it was an accident, I think they could have got away with it, but I don't
Doesn't Nick Nolte and Blue Chips kick the ball into the stands? We've referenced a lot of Blue Chip scenes lately, so I'm curious.
We have.
Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly!
I was really eager to bring this up with you guys from over the weekend.
I know what you're about to bring up, and I am very eager to discuss it.
So, I was gone over the weekend and yesterday attending a funeral for Becca's grandmother. We're going to miss her a lot. Becca was very close with her, as was the rest of her family. We spent a great weekend. It was like 4 days of celebrating her life, and it was well earned because she lived a heck of a life and impacted a lot of people.
Took 4 days to celebrate.
There was stuff going on every day. It was very much well worth it. I'm glad I was there for all of it. In the obituary...
I hope you know what you're doing here.
Yeah. I have permission to discuss this from all involved, so we're gonna do this. So in the obituary, my brother-in-law lives with his girlfriend. They are younger than Becca and I. They have been together longer than Becca and I, but they are not engaged. They are not married.
Okay.
But because they've been together nearly a decade, in the obituary, they wanted to make sure that my brother-in-law's girlfriend was mentioned because she was part of the surviving family.
Like you were in parentheses after Becca.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So when you're in a position like that, how do you refer to the person's title? Because what they ended up going with was Nick and his special friend, Amy.
It's better than imaginary friend, I guess.
Yeah. And so, all weekend we're saying to Amy, hey, how's Nick's special friend doing right now? And she had a good laugh about it. Everyone involved had a good laugh about it. It was pretty funny.
It is pretty funny.
What is the proper way? Because, I think we all probably know somebody in a position like this. Like, my aunt and uncle on my mom's side have been together for 2 decades. They never got married, but I think of my Aunt Jackie as my Aunt Jackie, even though they're not married. They're that's just their relationship.
Sure.
How do you refer to that person formally in a wedding or in a funeral or any position?
Is Amy okay with this whole thing?
Is she? I don't know if she's deep down okay with it. She had good laughs about it all weekend long with everyone who brought it up.
Was there laughter through pain? Or was it just, was it fake laughter?
Amy's kind of reserved. It's hard to tell with her sometimes. I thought she seemed to be okay with it, would be my assessment of the situation.
Tausch, were you asking if she's okay with this titling and being discussed this way, or is she okay with being with your brother-in-law for 10 years and not getting a ring?
Without being married.
Yeah,
that's
a long time.
That's the crux of this, because if they agree that this is the road they both wanted, this is all good.
Yeah, just put her in parentheses,
she wants to be married, if she wants to be married, all of a sudden none of this stuff hits a lot harder. And she fakes that she's happy about it. There's some serious... That's where until I know that, I think she should be labeled partner of instead of special friend.
That's what Pipe Jim just said, too.
That would be the road I would go down, but I'm guessing maybe she is more than happy. This is the road she wanted, along with your brother-in-law, and then that's all great. But if not, then I would be very nervous making jokes at that expense, because I would think she probably stings every time you say it. So as long as, Jesse, I'm sure you understood the whole picture before you threw those jokes out. I'm sure she's fine with it.
I think they're comfortable with where they're at.
You think?
Things are expensive in the world these days. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
It's comfortable at one side and not on the other. That is where you have to be very cautious.
I think there is pretty clear intent to be wed at some point here in the near future, but it's just isn't happening yet.
Why? What makes you feel that way?
Because they've been together for 8.5 years. They've been together longer than Beck and I have known each other, but they were in school when they met. They're high school sweethearts, and so they're young. They got a lot of time left here, old teens.
Okay.
Not like the clock's ticking on them yet.
Yeah, I'm just nervous for... I just wonder if there's one person on the one side that is fine with it and the other person isn't. I feel like there could be some angst, and I don't think you should be prying into the angst, and I feel like that may be the case. I don't know. I'm just asking a question.
So I think the more important question is, who decided to go with special friend in the obit? And was that signed off upon by Amy? Because there were other terms, girlfriend, keep it simple, other. Significant other, partner,
life partner. I'm seeing here,
or just like you were in parentheses. Were you not?
I was
after
in
Becca's name.
I was in parentheses.
Just put her name in parentheses, man.
I don't know if you can do that.
Why? Doesn't necessarily mean that you're married.
There's a formality to this whole thing.
Kind of does.
So was it discussed?
Parentheses equal marriage.
Well, that's traditionally, but we're in an untraditional time. My question is,
it was a pretty traditional funeral, I guess. I would mention that.
Sure. Okay. Did anyone ask her how she would like to be referred to in the obituary?
I don't know. There were a lot of...
I think it's safe to say no if she ended up with special friend.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, the good news is...
We wouldn't be talking about it if it said partner. I can tell you that much.
There you go. Well, Tausch has got a special friend. When it comes to when he's hungry or he's got to make a pit stop, he's got to get coffee. It's a quick trip to the Quick Trip because life is busy.
And whether you're craving that fresh coffee, a tasty bakery treat, grab-and-go meals, Quick Trip is your go-to. Quick Trip has a variety of apps and meals ready when you are. You can sweeten up your game with Quick Trip's Nature's Touch ice cream, chocolate and vanilla, cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip. There's no such thing as a bad pickup. And right now, a gallon of that Nature's Touch ice cream is $4.99. You can get Nature's Touch milk for $2.99 or the Quickery breakfast sausage links for $2.49. You can get that. Already mentioned the bags of soup for $6.99 today. You got the chicken deals on Monday, the whole chicken. Wednesday, you got the chicken tenders. Dinner on the go. Quick Trip is the ultimate destination. Fuel your day with quality taste. Download the Quick Rewards app. Take advantage of all Quick Trip has to offer. Quick Rewards on every visit. Plus, you can order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip will see ya next time.
How many dates does Riley have to go on with his first date who stole his debit card, allegedly, before she can be referred to as his
special friend?
Special friend. That's a callback to yesterday's show.
Some of the text, should I be offended that I wasn't referred to as Becca's special friend in the obituary? It's like, now I'm not special compared to everyone else. Roommate with benefits feels inappropriate. Ryan.
In an obituary. A few more names for Jesse's quasi-sister-in-law before we wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the... Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Coming up live on Tuesday, a special edition of On the Tee. They're letting us go for 2 hours talking about the year's first major down at Augusta. Join me, Gabe Neitzel, and PGA Tour Live Stephen Watson as we have our picks to click, our favorite things, the traditions of Augusta. Plus, we are going to be joined by a couple of kids from Wisconsin who are participating in the drive, chip, and putt contest. Special edition of On the Tee, 2 hours starting at noon on Tuesday, right here, 94.5 ESPN.
Brewers baseball is here. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Don't miss any of the big games or the superstars. And come back for the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's every game all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tausch here for Kohler Services. Well, if you think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yes, you heard me correctly. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including a design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman here with some great news from my friends at Bank 5-9. For a limited time, you can earn as much as 4.8% on one of their CD specials. With 9, 17, and 25-month options, you're sure to find a CD that fits your needs while you earn a great return. It's simply another way Bank 5-9 is making lives better in our communities. Hurry, these high rates won't last long. Check out bank59.com/CD for more details. Member FDIC.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
For your next night out, revel in the fusion of artistry and flavor with Sushi at St. Kate, offering guests an elevated experience where freshness and creativity converge in every bite. St. Kate the Arts Hotel introduces an exciting new sushi menu to its culinary repertoire. Indulge in the finest seafood, freshest ingredients, and expert craftsmanship for an inspired and delectable dining journey. Experience the art of sushi at St. Kate and learn more at stkatearts.com.
Show podcasts, team-centric feeds, and listening live whenever, wherever. All of that in the palm of your hand. The Wisconsin On Demand app, available in the Apple or Android App Store.
I'm dying to know what others are saying on the Carbless Talk and text line, my buddy JB. This should be a Lifetime movie. Unfit for the obit, they could call it. Kind of like that idea.
Because, I mean, there's also the question, like, when do you get access to be, granted to be in the obit? Because, 8.5 years, certainly warranted. She's been around forever. 5 years? 1 year?
Great question.
Where's the line there? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that you're happily married and that you just made it in parentheses where you belonged, and you spent 4 days celebrating grandma's life, because that's a good thing. Hope we all get to be as old as she was and live a life well lived like she did. That's it for us today. Thanks to Mel Kiper. Thanks to Evan Cohen. That video of him.
Save big money on everything now at Menards. For all your outdoor storage needs, Aero Storage Products has you covered with metal sheds that come pre-cut and pre-drilled for quick and easy assembly. Made with galvanized steel to offer lasting protection and look good for years to come. Plus, don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals